Legal. 1221 N Street, Lincoln.
Fall is here, and so are cooler temps, darker evenings, and slick roads. Is your vehicle ready for the change in season? At A1 Automotive, we've got you covered. From tire checks, brake inspections, batteries, and heater systems, we make sure your car is road ready for the Nebraska winters ahead. Don't wait until the first frost. Schedule your fall car care checkup today and drive with confidence all season long. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
It's the best time of the year to order a new John Deere self-propelled windrower from Landmark Implement during the early order program. Hay harvest is a race against time. Order a new John Deere self-propelled windrower to harvest your hay quickly and efficiently while promoting quick dry down for quality hay. Now is the time to lock in the best price of the year. Contact your local Landmark location for full details on a new self-propelled windrower and experience the Landmark difference.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
The Lincoln forecast for today, patchy fog possible this morning. Otherwise, we'll see mostly sunny skies. It'll be windy, the high around 50. Tonight, mainly clear skies, continued breeze, the low around 26. And tomorrow, we'll see increasing clouds throughout the day with light winds and a high near 42. I'm meteorologist Kyle Pfeiffer for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
When it comes to concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction doesn't stall. They go for the takedown. As Nebraska's full-service concrete contractor, they stay in bounds, hold inside position, and never forfeit quality. Whether it's foundations, flatwork, or concrete coatings, they elevate performance and pin down results that win every time. Stevens & Smith Construction is a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket. Because when it's time to wrestle with concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction slams expectations.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
For remote starters, audio upgrades, and more, there's only one place to go. Auto Sounds of Lincoln at 48th and O.
This is a presentation of Nebraska High School football on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. High school football broadcasts are powered by Edward Stone, Sunbelt Rentals, Union Bank and Trust, Doane University, Hamilton Telecommunications, Jimmy John's, Nebraska Army National Guard, Nebraska Department of Transportation Highway Safety Office, and Play It Again Sports. Now, calling all the action, here's Nick Sainert and Jay Foreman.
Day number 2 of the 2025 NSAA State Football Finals, less than 15 minutes away from beginning here at Memorial Stadium on a Tuesday morning that is a little windier than yesterday, but we'll get to all that in due time. Nick Sainert joining you from Memorial Stadium as we get ready for the Class C1 State Championship game between the undefeated Wahoo Warriors and their 12-0 record going up against another undefeated team, the Red Raiders of Sidney High School. Once again, good morning. Nick Sainert, Jake Sorensen back in our 93.7 The Ticket studios, along with Jake Bachhoven and the rest of the 93.7 The Ticket team. Thanks to Jake and AD for taking over from that 9 to 10 hour, as well as we get ready for kickoff between the Warriors and the Red Raiders. This one is going to be a lot of fun. Sidney, a team that last year fell one game shy of making it to Memorial Stadium for the state championship game, but this year they were able to get past the state semifinals and finally play for a state championship. It's the first time in school history that they've made this game. They're looking for, which that means they're looking for their first state title in school history. For the Wahoo Warriors, it's a similar storyline to one of the Class D matchups we had yesterday. On one sideline, one team looking for their first crown in school history. For the Warriors, looking to go back-to-back. They knocked off Central City in a comfortable, convincing, dominating 47-7 victory last season on this very same field, led by a very same player that we're going to say his name a plethora of times this morning. That's the talented running back, Kip Brigham, a Nebraska Kearney commit. He leads the Warriors and the whole state in rushing yards with 2,571 yards on the ground. He averages just a tad over 13 yards per carry. He has scored 52 total touchdowns, 7 of those coming through the air, 45 of those on the ground. Quarterback Jake Kaminsky throwing nearly 74% through the air, has 1,500-plus yards and 17 touchdowns with just 3 INTs on the season. How about this statistic? This is absolutely mind-boggling, folks. In the 12 games that the Wahoo Warriors have played in this season, they have only punted 10 times all season long. 10 punts, 12 games the entire season, and they're a big reason why they are 12-0. You look at some of the results for the Wahoo Warriors over the last couple of weeks and months since August 29th when this season started back in late August. I mean, it is matchups 55-0, 35-0, 42-7, 49-0. This is a Warriors defense that has pitched 6 shutouts this season. In half of their games, they have not allowed a single point. They are dominant. However, on the other side, it's the Sidney Red Raiders also coming in with a 12-0 record on their own. They're saying, well, hold on, Nick. We've pitched a shutout in 4 of our 12 games. That is correct. The semifinals for a third consecutive season. The Raiders come from behind, win 28-24 over Columbus Lakeview in the semifinal, has them in the state championship game, as I mentioned, for the first time in school history. Sidney lost to Central City in the semifinals in 24, and then lost to Wahoo 2 years ago in the semifinals. So there's some bad blood over these last couple of years between the Sidney Red Raiders. Sidney's defense has just been prolific as on the other sideline in Wahoo, since it's allowed just 94 points in their entire season. 4 regular season shutouts. How about this? Kean Kaiser, an Iowa State pledge, leads the defense with 102 tackles on the year. Ben Monheiser checks in with 80 tackles for the Red Raiders defense. And how about this statistic, folks? 26 total turnovers in their 12 games is what they forced. 16 of those are interceptions. They're led by a dual-threat senior quarterback in Alec Doty. Doty has accounted for over 2,400 yards while rushing and passing, connects on about 62% of his pass attempts while running for almost 800 rushing yards this season. Reese Dorsey accounted for 1,300-plus yards on the ground. He scored 25 touchdowns, and he was the big cog in that machine in that comeback win against Columbus Lakeview in the semifinals. He scored the game-winning touchdown. This is going to be a great day of football. We have, obviously, the C1 state championship game here in just a few minutes. We're introducing the players. You can probably hear it in the speakers behind me. They're introducing the players for the visiting team, the Sidney Red Raiders. On the other side, Wahoo, getting ready to hear their names called here in just a moment. We are less than 7 minutes away from kickoff here at Memorial Stadium for the Class C1 state championship game. Should be a great one as we have a full day of football on tap for you. After this one at about 2:45 p.m. Central Time, GICC will go up against, in the C2 state championship game, the Bishop Neumann Cavaliers. The Cavaliers looking for their first title since 2003. GICC looking for their first title in school history. And then in the Class A matchup tonight, we all know it, the high-powered offense, the high-powered, highly talented team of Millard South going up against the Papillion La Vista South Titans. That game is scheduled to kick shortly after 7 p.m. But we are getting ready for the Wahoo Warriors and the Sidney Red Raiders. The Red Raiders in their white uniforms and the Wahoo Warriors in their golds. We will talk about it and continue the preparation for the kickoff in the Class C1 state championship game here on 93.7 The Ticket in just a few moments.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
At Jimmy John's, we don't make sandwiches. We make the sandwich of sandwiches. We use fresh veggies because we don't hate salads. We just feel bad for them. We make our sandwiches exactly how you want because you're the one who's eating it. And we bake bread all day, every day because stale bread isn't bread. It's croutons. Sandwich history is written by the victors. Good thing we have legible handwriting. Jimmy John's, the sandwich of sandwiches. Order pickup or delivery on the app.
If you're a homeowner or a business owner, you have a lot of projects, and no one has an unlimited budget or time. Sunbelt Rentals makes all jobs less stressful with no need to purchase large equipment or hire a crew. You can do it yourself with rentals and everything from aerators and power rakes for spring yard work to stump grinders, concrete mixers, tile saws, and more. Check out their inventory in Lincoln, north of Cornhusker Highway on 56th Street, or online at sunbeltrentals.com.
Ready to score big with your projects? Look no further than Edward Stone, the MVP of natural stone for over 2 decades. Edward Stone is cranking out over 30,000 square feet every week and offers a winning lineup of over 70 quality natural veneer stone selections. Their unbeatable variety and experienced team will ensure your project is a success, whether it's a home renovation or a commercial build. And hey, they're not just about stone. They've got an all-star lineup of fireplaces, cast stone, brick, and much more. Swing by one of their locations in Lincoln or Omaha today and experience the Edward Stone difference, your reliable choice for over 20 years.
Imagine starting your day with a computer glitch that leaves you feeling stuck, frustrated, and unable to get your work done. You have 1,000,001 things to get done today, and waiting for the tech issue to solve itself isn't one of them. It's time to let Hamilton handle the tech so you don't have to. We help businesses across the state spend more time on what they do best and less time frustrated with office technology. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we're focused on providing custom solutions that set you up for success now and in the future. Connect with us today at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Attention, Nebraska sports fans. Are you ready to take your skills to the next level? The Army National Guard is looking for leaders who are dedicated, driven, and ready to make a difference. Join up and gain invaluable experience while serving your country with a flexible schedule, competitive benefits, and a chance to build a strong future. Learn more at nationalguard.com/Nebraska. Live here, serve here. The Nebraska Army National Guard. Guard the good life.
Your possibilities are endless at Doane University. Rooted in liberal arts, you can choose from undergraduate and graduate programs, all delivering real-world experience. At Doane University, we take a personal approach to education, giving you the guidance you need to own your future. It's not just our long history of innovative learning, it's the feeling of being surrounded by possibilities that makes us different. Now is your time. Apply today at doane.edu/apply.
There's only one place this holiday season to shop for the sports fan in your life and get cash back for slightly used sports items you don't need anymore. Play It Again Sports. Check out their selection of new and used items, including home fitness equipment like treadmills, exercise bikes, and ellipticals, and get your lift on with free weights, benches, and racks to add to your home gym. And don't forget, if you have anything slightly used to trade in, they'll give you instant cash. Holiday shopping starts and ends at Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine. Hungry for something real? Come to HF Crave, Lincoln's favorite spot for burgers that are anything but basic. Locally sourced Nebraska beef, hand-cut fries, and bold flavors that'll make your taste buds cheer. Whether you're craving the classics or ready to try something wild, they've got the burger that gets you. HF Crave. Fresh, local, craveable. Find them at 48th and Holdridge or order online at hfcrave.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Coppell Chevrolet GMC, the #1 fastest growing GMC dealer in the Omaha and Lincoln area. We are going to keep this train rolling in a big way with new half-ton and 4x4 pickup trucks starting at $12,500 off list price or 0% financing. You heard that right, $12,500 off list price or 0% financing. You pick which one works better for you. Please stop on in the dealership and meet the team or check us out at koppelcars.com. Stock number C280930. All deals with approved credit.
Welcome back to high school football on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Well, welcome back into Memorial Stadium. Nick Sander with you on a Tuesday morning. Appreciate you guys tuning in wherever you may be over the last 24 hours and then throughout the rest of today as well as we look ahead to the C1, C2, and Class A state championship matchups. First on deck, it is the Wahoo Warriors and the Sidney Red Raiders in the C1 title game. Nick Sander with you. Jay Foreman will join me for the next two games. Should be some really good ones. Had great action yesterday. High-scoring affairs in D2 and D1 action. Class B was a really good one as well. Congrats to those three teams. The Waverly Vikings, of course, for capturing the elusive state championship for the first time in 45 years, since 1980. For the Waverly Vikings, in a great game last night against the Gretna East Griffins. But here this morning, 46 degrees at kickoff. The wind is blowing to the southeast at about 16 miles per hour. According to the gauges here in Memorial Stadium. Good crowds on hand for a Tuesday morning. Sidney certainly showing up. Wahoo as well. Wahoo will occupy what we are used to seeing as the visitor sideline here at Memorial Stadium on the east side of the stadium, while Sidney is holding over the real estate on the west side beneath me as I sit up here on the sixth floor of the west side of Memorial Stadium here in the press box. The Wahoo Warriors won the toss pregame. They elected to defer, and so that means that we will see the Sidney Red Raiders offense and dual threat quarterback Alec Doty, who's accounted for over 2,400 yards rushing and passing. He's connected on about 62% of his passes this year while rushing for 768 yards on the campaign. Wahoo is going to be decked out in their blue helmets, with the gold W on each side. They have some stickers on some of the players for the captains and leaders of the team. The Wahoo gold, yellow jerseys with the blue and white accents on them and the white pants. Most of them all have white or black cleats. For the Red Raiders of Sidney, black helmets with the white jerseys, black accents, red letters and numbers, black pants, and a lot of those guys have black cleats on their feet for the Red Raiders, and we are just about ready to go. Our head referee today is going to be Chad Gillespie. We'll see how long it takes for us to hear Chad's voice for the first time this morning. It's a little bit chillier than yesterday, but it is a lot sunnier than it was yesterday. We did not see the sun at all on Monday or Monday night, of course, and so we're starting it off a little bit better. It feels a little warmer. However, you're walking into that breezy 16-mile-an-hour wind going southeast here at Memorial Stadium. It can be a little colder. So we are getting ready for kickoff. Number 34 for the Wahoo Warriors, Kane Haar, is going to do the kickoff duties. Sidney has two guys back deep standing at their own 10-yard line. The ball falls off the tee before we get underway, and so they will go ahead and reset it up, and we're ready to play football in just a moment. Memorial Stadium looks great as we continue to inch closer to Nebraska's regular season finale against the Iowa Hawkeyes, 11 a.m. on Friday. We'll have, obviously, all your pregame coverage for you on the ticket. And now they're going to have to call in Landon Fye to hold this kickoff because it fell off the tee once again as Haar was approaching that ball. So now they're going to hold this one, and we'll go ahead and reset up and try it again for the third time. So a little bit of a delay to start here at Memorial Stadium. Haar approaching the football, boot to leather, and we are underway here at Memorial Stadium. It's a squib kick fielded by the up man at the 28-yard line, and he brings it across the 35-yard line and down at the 41, and so pretty good field position to start for the Sidney Red Raiders. We can see this over the last couple of games yesterday as well. At least one side is not, I don't want to say terrified, but is at least cautious of the return man that the opponent has standing at their 10-yard line. It appears Wahoo is nervous for kicking the ball to the Sidney Red Raiders deep. At least all signs would point to that at this point. So we are ready to go. Alec Doty takes the field, and he'll break the huddle with 11:55 to go in the first quarter. Sidney comes out with two wideouts up to the far side, the short side of the field, one to the bottom, and the running back is lined up to the left side of Doty. Doty's going to take the shotgun snap and just barrel his way forward on a quarterback power. He'll get a nice gain of about 3 yards on first down, maybe even mark it 4, up to the 44-yard line, and that's going to bring up second down and 6 for the Sidney Red Raiders. One thing to watch, Doty just rolled his ankle, and he's hobbling to the sideline to just kind of get the play. He's now jogging it off. Back to the huddle he goes, and he's communicating with his guys as they all stand at the 38-yard line of Sidney while the ball is spotted about 6 yards ahead of them at the 44. Second down and 6 as Doty breaks the huddle. He has a running back lined up to his right, and that is going to be number 26, Dean Kitt. Here, a handoff to Kitt. Kitt barrels his way forward left side, just past the N at midfield. He gets about a 3 or 4 yard gain on the play, and that's going to bring up 3rd down and 2 officially for the Sidney Red Raiders offense. Another name to watch in this backfield is going to be number 22, Reese Dorsey. Dorsey, the junior, stands at 6 feet tall, 190 pounds, and he's in there here ahead of this 3rd down and short. Also in there is going to be an extra tight end, number 44, Cale Kaiser, 6'3", 180 pounds. He's lined up on the left side of that offensive line. Watch a run to the left here as they motion a receiver from bottom to top. They hand it off. Dorsey up the middle. He goes, and he will barrel his way across midfield to the Wahoo 49-yard line for a 1st down. And so it takes 3 plays, but Sidney gets a 1st down on their first drive of the game, the entire first drive of the game. And they will have it 1st and 10 from the Wahoo 48-yard line as Alec Doty continues to lead this offense. Almost 2 full minutes have gone by in this game. Sidney, to this point, doesn't look like in much of a hurry. A real conventional offense. They have that dual threat quarterback, a Doty, who can run and pass. Dorsey will be lined up to the left hip of Doty. At the bottom, there's one receiver. At the top, there's one as well. An extra couple of offensive linemen out there. Dorsey takes the handoff from the shotgun formation. He runs up the middle, just following that right guard, and gets a nice gain of about 4.5 yards on 1st down. And so Sidney, a picturesque start for them as they're staying on schedule, eating the clock, and keeping Kip Brigham, the UNK commit, off the field for Wahoo. 2nd down and 6 from the 44-yard line of the Warriors, just underway in the Class C1 state championship game. Doty breaks the huddle. He's in shotgun formation, 1 wide out each side, an extra lineman on each side of the offensive line as well as Dorsey's lined up to the left. First pass of the day as Doty looks left side. Pass is almost intercepted. It went through the hands of the Wahoo Warriors defensive back in coverage, Caden Christian. It was just thrown out of reach for the intended receiver. I believe he was trying to get the ball to number 4 in white, Cash Kanabi, but Kanabi, it was out of reach for him. And Doty gets away with an ill-advised pass there as it was on the Sidney sideline. And wow, Wahoo had a chance to maybe intercept that one and take it the other way, but unable to keep their mitts on it, and it falls incomplete. 3rd down and 6 now coming up for the Sidney Red Raiders offense. They are in Wahoo territory. 3rd down and 6 from the 44. They turn, jet toss, left side. He's running it right side, trying to follow blockers. Has a big hole up the far sideline, inside the 20. Unable to get to the edge, but is taken down inside the 17-yard line at the 16. There he is, number 7, Lance Hawley. On the jet toss from left to right, he went to the short side of the field. Great blocking on the perimeter, and Hawley takes it inside the red zone. It's going to be a 1st down for Sidney. There's an injured Red Raider in between the numbers and the hash marks on the far side, right above the Big Ten logo at the 25-yard line on the far side of the field. He's slow to get up, tending to that right leg, and there's a couple of trainers out there from the Sidney sideline as he's now able to get up under his own power, and he looks to be trying to leisurely jog it off, and that's number 54 for the Red Raiders, Ben Monheiser, the senior. Looks like he got banged up a little bit, but seems to be walking off the field under his own power as he starts to jog once he reaches that Sidney sideline. All right, so a nice job by Lance Hawley on the jet toss there, able to get to the edge for a brief moment. A good tackle there by the Wahoo Warriors and Landon Fye on the perimeter as he was able to prevent a touchdown, but wasn't able to tackle Hawley until he got to the 16-yard line. 1st and 10 for Sidney. Inside the red zone. We are at 9 minutes and 14 seconds to play in the first quarter. Still scoreless between Wahoo and the Red Raiders. Shotgun formation. They turn, hand it off. Dorsey on the right side, tries to weave his way through traffic, and he gets a nice gain of about 4 or 5 up to the 11, and that's going to bring up 2nd down and medium for this Sidney Red Raiders offense. A nice job by Sidney here as they have really been able to be methodical here on this opening drive of the game. 2nd down and 5 coming up from the 11-yard line. Wahoo, once again, a really strong defense. Sidney, one of the better defenses in C1 as well, trying to push and force their will against the Wahoo Warriors. They turn, hand it off to the fullback. He plants his foot, cuts back left just inside the numbers, and that was number 40 for the Sidney Red Raiders, Kean Kaiser, and he gets near that first down line to gain. He might be about a yard or two shy. Inside the 10-yard line of Wahoo are the Red Raiders offense, and it's going to be 3rd down and 2 from the 8-yard line. They got to get to the 6. 3rd down and 2 for the Sidney Red Raiders as they have taken over 4 minutes off the clock to start the game. With Dorsey lined up to his right hip, one wide out each side. The snap, the shotgun formation, handoff. Dorsey, he goes nowhere. A nice stop there defensively by the Wahoo defense. Dorsey may have gotten 1 yard up to the 7, and now it's decision time for the Sidney Red Raiders as they will have a 4th. No, they now measured it and gave him a 1st down, so apologies here. The far sideline official signaled his hand that it was going to be a 4th down play, but now the head referee in Chad Gillespie came in and signaled 1st down after eyeballing it, and they award Sidney with a 1st down on the 2-yard carry by Dorsey. So it's going to be 1st and goal now for Sidney from the 6. Dorsey lined up to the left. They turn, handed off. Kaiser up the middle. He goes, and he's stuffed after a 3-yard gain up to the 3-yard line for Sidney as we now near the 7-minute mark in the first quarter. It is 2nd down and 3. 7:05 to play, first quarter in the Class C1 state championship game. Nick Sainert with you here on 93.7 The Ticket as Sidney has it. 2nd down and goal from the 3-yard line. Wahoo trying to bow up here against the Red Raiders offense that has featured a dominant and strong running attack to start. Alec Doty rolled his ankle on the first play. He's still out there. We just haven't seen him take off and run with it yet. Now he is. Now he tosses it right side. It's Dorsey. Great job sealing the edge by the Wahoo Warriors as they escort Dorsey out of bounds right at that line of scrimmage. No gain on the play to bring up 3rd down and goal. So it'll be 3rd down and goal for the Sidney Red Raiders offense as we have 6.5 minutes to go in the first quarter. This Red Raiders offense consuming almost half of the entire quarter here on their first drive of the game. Wahoo hasn't even been able to see Kip Brigham on the field at that talented running back position just yet. Sidney in the shotgun set. They motion a receiver from top to bottom. A jet toss left side. He runs horizontal instead of vertical, and he runs into a yellow wall of Wahoo defenders. It's a loss of 5 on 3rd down and goal to make it 4th and goal from the 8. Jace Kaminsky in on the stop for the Warriors defense, and the Sidney Red Raiders have decisions to make. You have consumed almost half of the quarter. 6 minutes and 10 seconds remain. And you want to get some points here. 4th down and goal. They got to find the end zone. They've only had 1 pass play. Doty almost threw an interception, but it was dropped by the Wahoo DB. Here on 4th and goal. Trips to the far side, the Y side of the field. They run Doty to the right. He has plenty of time. Looks back left. The receiver gets knocked down in the end zone. It draws a penalty flag, and it's going to be a defensive pass interference on Wahoo's number 7, Caden Christian. And the Sidney Red Raiders will stay alive on this drive, and they'll get an automatic 1st down. 1st and goal coming up after the defensive pass interference. So Wahoo is bailed out after a defensive pass interference by, Sidney is bailed out after a defensive pass interference by Wahoo. And so once again, Caden Christian, the senior defensive back, unable to stay with his receiver as they were looking for Lance Hawley in the near side of the end zone and just were not able to stay with him. They got tangled up and fell down, drew the easy penalty flag of the official. 1st and goal from the 3. They turn, handed off Dorsey, left side, trying to lunge his way in. Did he get in? No, he did not. And instead of, so I apologize, I have to revisit here because it is actually going to be a turnover on downs. They did not award the Sidney Red Raiders an automatic 1st down, but instead made it half the distance to the goal. So instead of 1st and goal, like it normally is in the college game. They made it 4th and goal from the 3 instead of from the 7. They handed it off on 4th down, and Wahoo stopped them short of the goal line. So now Wahoo takes over. I apologize for the miscommunication here. I thought I heard the referee in Chad Gillespie say that it was going to be an automatic first down. And I believe we're going to have a timeout on the field. So with that being said, the Sidney Red Raiders, they go 13 plays, 59 yards, and they take almost 7 minutes of game time off the clock. But a stand by the Wahoo defense against their own goal line forces a turnover on downs, and Wahoo gets the ball at their own 1 yard line to start here in the C1 title game. We'll step aside, come back in 30 seconds here in just a moment on 93.7 The Ticket.
Imagine starting your day with a computer glitch that leaves you feeling stuck, frustrated, and unable to get your work done. You have 1,000,001 things to get done today, and waiting for the tech issue to solve itself isn't one of them. It's time to let Hamilton handle the tech so you don't have to. We help businesses across the state spend more time on what they do best and less time frustrated with office technology. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we're focused on providing custom solutions that set you up for success now and in the future. Connect with us today at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Now back to high school football on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, so we get our first look at the Wahoo offense as Kip Brigham's in the backfield, 2,500 rushing yards on the year. He gets the ball here on first down. He gets knocked down. Did he get out of the end zone? He sure did. He got about a half a yard outside of that red painted end zone here at Memorial Stadium. The Red Raiders were selling out on the run. They almost got a safety, but Kip Brigham, one of the toughest guys to bring down in all of Nebraska high school football, is able to make his way out of that end zone. It's going to be 2nd down and 10 from the half-yard line. Wahoo, their heels, their offensive linemen are planted firmly in the end zone. Brigham to the left side of the quarterback. He turns, hands it off to Brigham. Brigham lowers his shoulder, and he gets 3 yards forward up to the 4-yard line, and it's going to bring up 3rd down and 6 for this Wahoo offense. So Kip Brigham, 2,500 rushing yards on the year. He's held records. He's the all-time leading rusher in the state. And here, they're going to come out in a power I formation. Now they switch it, an audible to shotgun set. Brigham to the left hip of the Wahoo quarterback. He's going to fake the handoff, looking left side. A wide open receiver outside the numbers. He's got a first down and more as the pass was completed from Kaminsky to Eli Shada. And Shada is able to haul it in, draw forward for about 8 yards or so, and it's going to be 1st down and 10 from what will be the 12 or 13-yard line of Wahoo. 4 minutes and 27 seconds to play in the first quarter. Still scoreless here in the Class C1 state championship game between Sidney and Wahoo. As Wahoo breaks out of the huddle in the shotgun formation, Kaminsky is lined up in the shotgun with Brigham to his right. They motion a man from bottom to top, right to left from your vantage point, and they hand it off to Brigham. Up the middle he goes for a short gain of maybe 2 up to the 15-yard line.
Stop number 64, Anderson Smelly, and number 55, Zach Rogash.
So after the 2-yard gain, it brings up 2nd down and 8 here in the first quarter. 4:05 to play. Scoreless here between Wahoo and Sidney. Wahoo on offense for the first time today in this quickly moving opening period of play. Kaminsky in the empty shotgun set. 2 wideouts far side, 1 to the near side. Kaminsky back to pass looking. Right side pass is hauled in by Brigham in space. He fumbles the football, but they're going to mark him down at the 20. And he gets a gain of about 5 yards on that 2nd down and 8 to make it 3rd down and very manageable. Wahoo head coach Chad Fox trying to win back-to-back state titles. Wahoo, if they can win today, will get their 3rd state championship in school history. They won that obviously last year in C1 with a 47-7 win over Central City. They also won it back in 2019. Wahoo in the pistol. Brigham lined up 2 yards behind the quarterback, Kaminsky. They motion a man. Now they hand it off. Here is Brigham, left side. He needs to get to the 23-yard line, and he gets stopped short at about the 21.5. And so now on 4th down and short, Chad Fox, I think, is going to have to send his punt unit onto the field. A great job by the Sidney Red Raiders standing tall, and they're going to get this football back after they were stopped on their goal line on a 4th down attempt. We saw a fake punt yesterday. We will see if Wahoo can get a little dicey here with 2:41 to play in the first quarter. Score is still 0-0. Reese Dorsey stands back. He is planted firmly at his own 39-yard line. The ball is placed at the 22. The snap is good to the punter. It's a short kick, fielded, fair catch signaled for, and they're going to let this bounce. A bad decision by Dorsey as that takes a big Wahoo bounce towards the south end zone, and it will be downed at the 13-yard line. So that's a risky decision by Reese Dorsey. The wind blowing 17 miles an hour towards that south end zone helped that ball not only with the ball flight through the air, but also on the bounce. It took a very favorable Wahoo bounce. That ball bounced at the 34-yard line, and it went all the way back to where it was downed at the 14-yard line. And so a little bit of additional help there. And Wahoo will now have to send their defense back out onto the field with 2:18 to play in the first quarter against this Sidney offense who took off 6.5 minutes of game time just a few moments ago, but resulted in 0 points. Sidney breaks the huddle. They're in shotgun formation. Alec Doty, the quarterback, with Dorsey to his left. He fakes the handoff, rather gives it to Dorsey. He should have faked the handoff as Dorsey goes down. It's a loss of 5 on the play, all the way back at the 8.5-yard line. And with 2:07 to play in the opening quarter, it's going to be 2nd down and 16. So after a Monday full of explosive plays and a lot of passing, this has been a first half, and we expected this to be the case. This has been a first half of conventional run and slowing the game down. Sidney and Alec Doty still getting the play from the Sidney sideline. And I believe Sidney is going to call a timeout here before a snap on 2nd down. So Sidney signals for the timeout, 1:34 to play in the first quarter. We're still scoreless here between the Red Raiders of Sidney and the Wahoo Warriors. Just a reminder, we will be on air all day long from Memorial Stadium as the C2 state championship game will follow this one between Grand Island Central Catholic and Bishop Neumann for GICC, looking for their first state championship in school history. For Bishop Neumann, it's been about 22 years since they've hoisted the trophy. They went back-to-back in 02 and 03, but have yet to raise the hardware since then. But here, Wahoo trying to go back-to-back today. 1 minute, 34 seconds remain here in the first quarter in the C1 state championship matchup. Sidney and Wahoo. Nick Sainert with you from Memorial Stadium. Jake Sorensen, Jake Bachov, and the entire crew back in our 93.7 The Ticket Studios, 1040 O Street in downtown Lincoln, just about 2 blocks south of where I currently am sitting. So we're ready to go out of the Sidney Red Raiders timeout, their first of the matchup. And they burn it with a minute and a half to play in the first quarter. We have yet to see Alec Doty really utilize his arm on the day. For the most part, it's been a healthy dose of Reese Dorsey in the backfield. So here we go. They break the huddle. 2nd down and 16 after Dorsey just lost 6 yards on 1st down. Ball is at the 8-yard line. They turn, hand it off Dorsey. He bounces outside. Great pursuit by the Wahoo defense, and they're able to get in on the stop. The first guy there was number 31, Harrison Kruger. Great job by the Warriors defense. And now we have a stoppage in play. I believe Wahoo may be calling a timeout here. A great decision by Chad Fox because it's 3rd and 16, and this is the field position game at its finest. There's a 17-mile-an-hour wind consistently blowing in the face of the Sidney Red Raiders. And with that, Chad Fox here ahead of 3rd down and 16 is saying we're going to stop the clock because if we can hold them on 3rd down and long, we want Sidney to punt into the wind. And so that's certainly some strategy going on here on that Warriors sideline. A really smart decision there by Chad Fox. Way to be ahead in the game here on that Warriors sideline. So Sidney will be faced with a 3rd and 16 here in just a moment. Both of these teams undefeated on the campaign. Wahoo came in. They knocked off Milford, Mount Michael, and Ashland Greenwood to make it here to the state championship game. For Sidney, they beat Pierce, Fort Calhoun, and Columbus Lakeview. All right, out of the Wahoo Warriors timeout, both sides now have just 2 timeouts remaining in this half. Sidney breaks the huddle, shotgun set. We'll see if Doty throws it. Dorsey to his right. They turn, fake the handoff. Doty to pass into the wind. He's in the end zone. Watch out as he stumbles, and he's barely able to make it out of the end zone. He's down at the 1. And so a little bit of an ill-advised decision there for Alec Doty. As he rolled to his right, I think he might have forgotten how close he was to the end zone, and he almost stumbled on his own. He got tripped up by a Warriors rusher, and he was able to lunge outside of the goal line for a loss of about 5 yards on the play. And with that, it's going to bring up 4th down and a mile from the 1 yard line. But now, here's one thing I will say. They're showing the replay in the studio, or excuse me, in the stadium. And when Doty's knee was down, the ball was outside of the goal line. And so that is one thing. It's not where your body's at, it's where your ball is at. And Doty was fortunate because his body came down in the end zone, but once that knee touched, ball was firmly outside of the goal line, so it didn't even leave any speculation. But here's the thing, folks. I mean, Sidney has officially about 11 yards to work with on this punt. Wahoo wouldn't be surprised if they bring the house here. Sidney's going to have to punt into this 17, almost 18-mile-an-hour wind. The punter, Reese Dorsey. Now they switch it, and Alec Doty will take some steps back, and he will do the punting. He's got his heels on the back end of that end zone, standing on the R of Nebraska. It's going to be a short line drive punt, and how about this, folks? It is a 27-yard punt. It bounces out of bounds at the 28-yard line of the Sidney Red Raiders. And so a great job by Chad Fox, who has burned 2 of his timeouts, but solely for the fact of making Sidney punt into the wind, it works out in Wahoo's favor, and they take over 1st and 10 at the Red Raiders' 28-yard line. 1 minute, 14 seconds to play in the first quarter. We're all tied up at 0 as Wahoo is back on offense. Kip Brigham lined up behind the quarterback, Kaminsky. Short field to work with in favor of the Wahoo Warriors. They turn, fake the handoff. They're going to look downfield. Kaminsky rolls to his left, still rolling, still running. He's going to tuck and run and just retreat out of bounds after a 4 or 5 yard gain. He'll be ushered out at the 25-yard line of Sidney. Gain of 4 on the play with 1:06 remaining in the quarter. It's 2nd down and 4.
Gain of 3, 2nd down, 7.
So 2nd down and 7 coming up in just a moment. The ball is placed at the 24.5-yard line. Same formation with Brigham lined up 2 yards behind Kaminsky in the backfield. They turn, hand it off now, or rather fake the handoff. Kaminsky rolls. He throws it downfield. That's a legal pass on the near sideline, and it's hauled in by number 2 in yellow. That is Landon Fye on the reception. He's good for a 1st down up to the 15-yard line. 1st and 10 coming up with less than a minute to play in the quarter. 59 seconds to go in the first quarter. 0-0 your score. Wahoo, though, is in the red zone for the first time here this morning. 2 tight ends out there. They're lined up to the left side. No receivers to the near side. They motion a receiver now from top to bottom. They turn. They hand it off. Brigham with his first carry on the drive. He bounces outside, and the state's leading rusher hurdles into the end zone. Touchdown, Wahoo! With 53 seconds to go in the first quarter, Wahoo uses the advantageous field position, and it takes them 3 plays to score the first touchdown here in the C1 title game. A nice job by Kip Brigham, bouncing it outside as he ran to the left on the far side of the field. He hurdled over the goal line, And Kip Brigham just scored his 46th rushing touchdown of the season. So now on to attempt the extra point. Kane Haar, the snap down by Kaminsky is held well, and it is through the uprights for a successful point after. So with 53 seconds to go in the first quarter, Wahoo strikes first. They are up 7-0 over the Sidney Red Raiders. A nice job there by the Wahoo Warriors, as once again they forced a Sidney punt from their own 1-yard line, and then it took them 3 plays to go 28 yards. 7-0 your score. Wahoo out in front. Kip Brigham runs it in from 15 yards out. It capped off a 3-play, 28-yard drive, and it consumed 21 seconds of game time. Kip Brigham on the day, 5 carries, 21 yards, and 1 touchdown. To that point, though, before that rushing touchdown from 15 yards out, Sidney had done a good job of keeping Kip Brigham in check. Before that 15-yard carry, he had 4 carries for just a total of 6 yards. On the other side, Reese Dorsey leads the way in rushing for Sidney with 9 carries, 14 yards for him. .53 seconds to play in the first quarter. The ball on this kickoff has to be held once again by Landon Fye, as Kane Haar will do the kickoff duties. Just one returner back for Sidney, as they will kick with the wind at their back. It's a line drive kick, bounces on the turf, fielded at the 16-yard line by the up back. Now he has a hole up the left side. There he goes across the 40 and tackled out of bounds at the 45-yard line. A nice return there on the play for Sidney and number 10, Kyle Jaggers. And with 46 seconds to go in the first quarter, Sidney takes over on their own 45-yard line. So certainly not bad field position by any means to start this Sidney drive. Now, you look back at the first drive of the game for Sidney. They went 13 plays, 59 yards. They consumed 6 minutes and 14 seconds, but got no points out of it. Now here on the first down play from the 45-yard line, they break the huddle. In the shotgun, they turn, hand it off. Reese Dorsey with a hole on the left side. He runs into his own guy, Jaggers, and he gets forward for a gain of 3.5 or so up to the 48-yard line. Ryan Smith, the head coach for the Sidney Red Raiders, trying to get the first state title in school history here this morning. With 25 seconds to go in the quarter, 21 on the play clock, they are going to have to snap it one more time on 2nd down and 6. I would imagine I'll be interested to see as we switch directions in the second quarter, do we see Sidney maybe open it up through the air a little bit more? They're going into that strong 18-mile-an-hour wind. When we started about 35 minutes ago, it was about 15 miles an hour. So it's been increasing as this game has progressed. And with zeros showing on the game clock, I think Ryan Smith might have taken another timeout, but we'll see if they'll just award him the end of the quarter. No, they have to call a timeout. They say that there was 2 seconds on the game clock. Ryan Smith let it go down and burnt his second timeout of the half. So he must not have liked to look there with 2nd down and 6 approaching. So 2nd down and 6 from their own 49-yard line is where the ball is placed. 7-0 is your score. Wahoo out in front of Sidney. The Red Raiders of Sidney, though, do have the football. So the Red Raiders break their timeout. Wahoo is still huddled up between the hashes and the numbers. Now Chad Fox will separate that huddle. And we are ready to go. 2 seconds to play in the first quarter. This will be the last play of the opening period, barring a penalty. And here we go as the Red Raiders break the huddle. From their own 49-yard line, it's 2nd down and 6. One wide out each side, Dorsey to the right hip of Doty. They motion the receiver from the left to the right. They hand it off. Dorsey on the handoff. He gets across midfield to gain a 2 on second down, but that will do it for the end of the first quarter. Your score in the C1 championship game, Wahoo 7, Sidney 0. We'll be back in 60 seconds here on 93.7 The Ticket.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
There's only one place this holiday season to shop for the sports fan in your life and get cash back for slightly used sports items you don't need anymore. Play It Again Sports. Check out their selection of new and used items, including home fitness equipment like treadmills, exercise bikes, and ellipticals, and get your lift on with free weights, benches, and racks to add to your home gym. And don't forget, if you have anything slightly used to trade in, they'll give you instant cash. Holiday shopping starts and ends at Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Now back to high school football on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into Memorial Stadium. Nick Sainert here on the call for the Class C1 state championship game. Thanks to the 93.7 The Ticket team back in our studios, making sure I stay connected, holding down the fort as well, especially in between games, filling the airtime, as well as Jay Foreman will join me for the 2:45 and 7:15 p.m. games. C2 title game at 2:45 between GICC and Bishop Newman. And then obviously 7:15, it all wraps up with the Class A title game between Millard South and Papillion La Vista South. I had to freak out up here in the press box with this window open and a little bit more of a wind. It startled me as the papers started to fly around. So there's that for you there, as I got them before they flew from the 6th floor of Memorial Stadium. All right, here we are, 12 minutes to go on the second quarter as we begin the second quarter of play. Alec Doty in the backfield with Dorsey to his right. He runs a speed option, and Doty's just going to keep it himself on 3rd down and 4, and he goes nowhere. A great job by the Wahoo defense staying disciplined there as they're able to make the stop on 3rd down. That brings up a crucial 4th down and 4 here for the Sidney Red Raiders. They were working now with the wind blowing at about 18 miles an hour to their back as it's blowing through the south end zone here at Memorial Stadium. 4th down and 4 from the 49-yard line of Wahoo. They need to get to the 45 to keep the drive alive. 11:23 to go. They are now going to retreat back and punt this one away, trying to play the field position game. It's a short punt. Great coverage, though, by Sidney, as the return by number 4, Jace Kaminsky, it only goes about 3 yards forward. And so a great job by the Sidney Red Raiders punt coverage unit as they were able to stop what could have been a big return. That punt only went about 30 yards or so with that big wind behind them. A little bit of a disappointing, I think, probably punt if you are the Sidney head coach, Ryan Smith, hoping that one maybe could have pinned Wahoo back a little bit, but now Wahoo, conversely, working into the wind for the first time today with a 7-0 lead. 11:14 to play in the first half of the C1 state championship game. Empty shotgun set, Kaminsky. Now he'll motion out of the pocket. Kip Brigham in the Wildcat will motion in from the left side of the field. He runs it, fakes the toss to Kaminsky. Kip Brigham's going to keep it outside the numbers. Now bounces in, spins around outside the numbers again. He fumbles it, gets it back. He fumbles it again. Bodies fall on the turf. I think Wahoo recovered. Sidney from the far sideline is pointing that they have it, but Wahoo, who's closer to the ball, says that they keep possession. They do. Kip Brigham fumbled it 3 times on that run. He got it back all 3 times. What a play by Kip Brigham, able to dodge a bullet. It's going to be a 1st down and 10 from the 45-yard line of Wahoo. You don't see Kip Brigham be irresponsible with the pigskin very often. And there, he gets a 1st down carry despite losing it. 1st down and 10 from the 45-yard line. Pistol formation, penalty flag on the play. They're going to let him play on. It's on the defense. Brigham bounces off 3 tacklers, still dragging defenders across midfield, across the 45, and down at the 44. Kip Brigham is starting to get in his bag here, as the kids would say, as he has started to, in his last 3 carries, go for 47 yards. And they call an illegal formation penalty on Wahoo, so that negates the big run there by Kip Brigham. Chad Fox is pleading for an explanation on that far east sideline. And he now retreats back behind the white line. So we are ready to go. 10 minutes, 32 seconds to play in the first half here in the C1 state championship game. Pistol formation, Kaminsky lined up with Brigham behind him. They turn, handed off, Kip Brigham with it, and he's immediately met by Red Raider defenders 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Great defensive play. Number 54, Ben Monheiser, in on the stop, the senior, who was banged up earlier in the day. He comes back into the game. That leg seems to be okay, and he makes a tackle in the backfield of Kip Brigham. So not only did the 5-yard penalty move it back to 1st and 15, but now it's 2nd and 17 after Wahoo loses 2 on the first down run. Kaminsky in the pistol. Brigham lined up. There's 2 extra tight ends out there. They motion the tight end from right to left. They're loading up that left side. They run that way. Now Brigham reverses direction, runs it up the middle, and he goes nowhere. No gain on the play. A great job by the Sidney Red Raiders defense, continuing to limit Kip Brigham. I think if you ask head coach Ryan Smith, all right, with 9 minutes and 26 seconds to go in the first half, Kip Brigham has 8 carries for 38 yards. I think Ryan Smith will take that every single day of the week. 9 minutes, 15 seconds to play in the second quarter. It's 7-0 Wahoo. They break the huddle. They're in an empty shotgun set. Brigham is lined up in the slot to the left. They have a receiver to the top. Now Kaminsky, pump and go, looking Brigham's way. He can't get it to him. He's going to retreat to the left. He throws across his body downfield. He's got a receiver open. It's hauled in. Inside the 15, inside the 5. Touchdown, Wahoo. Number 5, Eli Shada, the big play man, is able to haul it in, and Wahoo is up by 13. What a play by Jace Kaminsky. He tried to get it to Kip Brigham. Unsurprisingly, he initially was going to throw it on a pump and go up the far sideline to Brigham. He rolled to his left as the defender stayed disciplined on that far side. Shada was able to get past his defender on the near sideline, hauled it in at the 17, waltzed in from the 5, and it's a touchdown for the Wahoo Warriors. Kaminsky chucked that one into the wind from the 45-yard line or so of the Wahoo Warriors. It floated up there, but Shada was able to get enough space between him and the defender to make the catch. The point after is up, and it is good with 8:54. The balloons have been deflated on that Sidney Red Raiders sideline. They were trying to get some energy. They thought a punt was coming, but what a throw by Jace Kaminsky across his body on the left side. Shada running near the sideline. He was able to haul it in on a post pattern, and Wahoo's up by 2 touchdowns. Let's step aside, come back in 30 seconds here on 93.7 The Ticket.
Imagine starting your day with a computer glitch that leaves you feeling stuck, frustrated, and unable to get your work done. You have 1,000,001 things to get done today, and waiting for the tech issue to solve itself isn't one of them. It's time to let Hamilton handle the tech so you don't have to. We help businesses across the state spend more time on what they do best and less time frustrated with office technology. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we're focused on providing custom solutions that set you up for success now and in the future. Connect with us today at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Welcome back to high school football on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Raiders number 7, Holly.
A 62-yard touchdown pass from Jace Kaminsky to Eli Shada caps off a 4-play, 74-yard drive. that allows Wahoo to take a 14-0 lead here in the Class C1 state championship game. Nick Sainert with you from Memorial Stadium as Wahoo was getting ready to kick it off yet again, but it falls off the tee. And they got to do something different because Sidney hasn't had any issues kicking it quite yet. Wahoo, it's fallen off the tee every time that they've set up and attempted. So K&R will have to reset it up. They'll call in Landon Fye to hold it, and they'll kick towards this north end zone. Sidney has their return man set up at the 15-yard line. It's a line drive kick and fielded at the 17. Here we go with the Sidney Red Raiders. Return on the right side, lowers the shoulder, does number 7 Lance Hawley, and he gets across the 30-yard line down at the 34-yard line. So 8:48 to play in the second quarter. It's 14-0 Wahoo on top of the Sidney Red Raiders. And once again, Sidney's got to find some source of offense. I think that they may have kind of planned on having a stop there on that third down and long, 3rd and 17. And the pass was completed from 62 yards out for Wahoo. Alec Doty, 2 for 3 on the day for 24 yards. He turns, hands it off Reese Dorsey, right side. This is number 40, Kean Kaiser. And he turns, and there's nowhere for him to go. He may have gotten a yard on that right side. He stopped for a short gain on the play. 2nd down and 9 coming up from the 35-yard line. 46 degrees here at Memorial Stadium. It feels a little warmer than yesterday despite the wind. I think I was hearing the guys talk earlier on the show this morning that this is really the last day of quote-unquote warmth before. I hear snow is on the horizon for Friday's game against Iowa. We'll see if that comes to fruition. But either way here, sunny day, sunny Tuesday morning so far here in Lincoln. Snap back to Doty, looking to pass on 2nd down. Over the top is almost intercepted. It was intended for Kaiser across the middle. There is one white jersey. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 yellow jerseys in the vicinity. Your chances of grabbing that one are pretty slim, but it was a good or a well-thrown ball by Doty, just slightly out of reach. Kaiser couldn't come down with it, and Wahoo will now try to defend a 3rd down and 9 attempt from the Sidney Red Raiders. I've never seen this before. On the Wahoo sideline, the coaches, in fact, at times communicate through AirPods rather than traditional headsets. They just showed it on the big screen. Here's the snapback, 3rd down and 9. A floated pass picked off. Wahoo going the other way. Inside the 20-yard line, taken down is number 8. That's Josh Fox, the senior defensive back.
Intercepted by Josh Fox.
And so Wahoo is able to force a turnover. They get it back inside the red zone. It is 1st and 10 from the 16-yard line. And so bad turns to worse for the Sidney Red Raiders, who cannot get any sort of rhythm going on offense. And Kip Brigham takes the field once again with Jace Kaminsky. 1st and 10 from the 16. In the pistol, they motion Landon Fye from left to right, handed off to Brigham on the misdirection. He's spun around and taken down just inside the 15-yard line at the 13. 7 minutes and 40 seconds to play in the second quarter. It's 14-0 Wahoo on top of Sidney here in the C1 state championship game. Seven minutes, 22 seconds to play, first half. Nick Sainert with you from Memorial Stadium. Wahoo won this game in the C1 title game in 24, 47-7 against Central City. They motioned Kaminsky out to the tight end, Wildcat. It's a misdirection, wide receiver pass. Wahoo looking around. He throws back towards the middle of the field. It's lobbed up. It's somehow hauled in by the Wahoo receiver, number 7. Caden Christian was the quarterback on that play after he took a toss from Kip Brigham. Wahoo real creative on offense here, up by 14 points. There is a penalty flag on the play, so we'll see what our head referee Chad Gillespie has to say in just a moment.
Illegal motion
So it's going to be an illegal motion on the Wahoo Warriors. That's the second time that we've either had an illegal formation or illegal motion in this case on Wahoo. They're saying that Jace Kaminsky was not set before. You could call that a false start, I suppose, but also they say it that there it is. So illegal motion on number 4, Jace Kaminsky, the quarterback. They motioned Kaminsky out and kind of flexed him as an extra blocker on that right side of that offensive line. Can't do that. So here we go. As Kaminsky's in the shotgun, they'll motion the slot man from right to left. They turn, fake the handoff to Brigham. Looking to pass, looking left side is Kaminsky. He rolls that way. He's looking back, wanted to get it to Brigham. He's going to tuck and run instead. Inside the 10. He bounces outside. He's spun around. Just outside the 5-yard line is Jace Kaminsky, finally taken down by Dorsey defensively for Sidney. And it's going to be 3rd down and about 2, it appears, from the 6-yard line. They're going to have a measurement as there's an injured Sidney Red Raider on the field. And so after the measurement, it appears, as I peek through my binoculars from here on the west side of the stadium, it appears that they are going to give them the first down. And so it's going to be a 1st down and goal instead. You hear there's not a whole lot of cheers because Sidney has an injured Red Raider on the turf. That injured Red Raider is number 5, Sam Holbert. But he seems to be okay as he walks off the field under his own power. But after the measurement here at Memorial Stadium, it's going to be 1st down and goal from what is the 6-yard line. Wahoo trying to continue pouring it on here. They're up 14-0 on Sidney. Wahoo with 1 timeout. Sidney also 1 timeout remaining here in the second quarter. Wahoo will come out in the power I and now motion out of it as they move, and Kip Brigham is lined up as the quarterback. Kaminsky now will motion out of the backfield. Brigham in the backfield. He turns, runs a power left side, tries to shed 1 defender. He is unable to go anywhere. Great job defensively by number 40, Kean Kaiser, for the Sidney Red Raiders. He was able to seal the edge, and he took down Kip Brigham. Kaiser doubles as the linebacker as well as the fullback on offense for Sidney. He was able to come from the left side of that offensive line from the defensive area and seal that edge where Kip Brigham was running, and he lowered a thud on the Wahoo running back. Now, Wahoo, 2nd and goal from the 6. Pistol formation, 2 wideouts to the top. They turn, and they hand it off to Brigham. Inside the 5 he goes, tries to spin over the goal line. Did he get in? He did! The far sideline official signals touchdown. There's a delayed reaction. There it is, touchdown, Wahoo. The far sideline official signaled it. The near sideline official was running in at the 1-yard line. But it's a touchdown for Wahoo with 5:43 to play in the second quarter. 5:43 to go in the second quarter. It's 20-0. Wahoo. Har on to attempt the extra point to make it a 3-touchdown differential. The right-footed kicker. There's going to be an offsides penalty called on Sidney here as they were trying to rush off that far right side of that line. And so they'll move it half the distance to the goal here. I would be interested to see if Wahoo and Chad Fox decide, hey, let's just go ahead and go for it. But it appears they're going to keep their kicking unit on the field. So they'll move up to the 1.5-yard line rather than the 3-yard line. But how about Kip Brigham? 2nd touchdown of the day for the future Loper. Har lines up. Good snap. Great hold. The kick is high, and it sails right of the upright. No good. The extra point is no good. 5:43 to play in the second quarter. It's 20-0 Wahoo here in the C1 State Championship game. We'll step aside, come back in just a few moments on 93.7 The Ticket.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
pro move.
They don't call me Drill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
Now back to high school football on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back. Nick Stainer with you from Memorial Stadium here. 5:43 to play in the second quarter. How about this statistic, folks? Wahoo actually has 2.5 minutes fewer time of possession today, but they lead in the one column that matters, and that's the scoreboard, and they are up 20-0. Har puts boot to leather, and we are heading towards the sideline on this kickoff. It's going to go out of bounds. So Sidney will get the ball in plus field position here to start their drive. Sidney struggling to get anything going in the air or on the ground. 49 total yards for the Red Raiders. This was, once again, a Sidney team that consumed 59 yards in 6 minutes plus of time of possession on their first drive. But it ended on a fourth down stop at the 1 yard line. And since that point, Sidney has not really been able to do anything offensively. Alec Doty, the quarterback, threw an interception on their last drive. And here they set up after the kickoff out of bounds, their own 35-yard line, 1st and 10. 4 down linemen defensively for the Wahoo Warriors. They turn, they hand it off to Sidney. Up the middle they go. They handed it off to Kyle Jaggers. Jaggers gets a gain of maybe 2 on the play. Krieger in on the stop, as well as Kelly for the Wahoo Warriors defense. Second down and 8. The wind continues to pick up as the temperature continues to drop here at Memorial Stadium. We started at almost 50 degrees. It's now 45, according to the gauges here at the stadium. Pass right side, it's hauled in. But, man, a short gain on the play of about 5 yards as they get it to number 40, Kean Kaiser. Kaiser on the play gets 4 or so to make it 3rd down and 4 from the 41. And if you're Sidney, you're going with the wind at your back here. You feel like, you know you're going to have that wind in your face in the third quarter. You can't really do a whole lot through the air when that's the case. And, man, you wonder at times, this might be the quarter that Sidney needs to get something going. 4.5 minutes to play in the first half. They're back to pass on 3rd down and 4. Looking downfield up the near sideline. Watch out. And ball hawk safety. How about that? It's an incomplete pass. No, rather it's an interception. Wahoo, number 32, guess who? Kip Brigham. He was able to track it in the air, and Doty throws his second INT of the day. I wasn't sure if Brigham got his foot in bounds, but he did. A great play by Kip Brigham. 4 minutes and 15 seconds to play in the second quarter, and Wahoo takes over after Alec Doty's second INT. Ball is on the 42-yard line. They're back to pass. Kaminsky pump fakes, looking, sets up, steps up, now tosses it to Brigham, an underhand shovel, and it is going to be a nice gain of about 7 yards on the play. There's a penalty flag marker at the 37-yard line, about 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. I wasn't sure if Kaminsky was past the line of scrimmage when he chucked that one, but it's going to be a hold on the Warriors. So this one will drive him back 10 yards. It's going to be a spot foul. And so instead of 1st and 10, it'll be 1st and, let me see if I can do quick math here, 23, I believe, 23. And that's exactly what it is. There it is, 1st and 23, ball on their own 29-yard line. They got to get to the Sidney Red Raider 48 to keep the drive alive. 1st and 23. Pistol formation, Kaminsky with Brigham behind him. 2 wideouts to the far side. They turn, hand it off. Brigham on 1st down, sheds 1 tackle, 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage, but then the cavalry comes in for the Sidney Red Raiders, and they take him down for a loss of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here on 1st down to make it 2nd down and 28. 3 minutes and 40 seconds remain here in the first half. Sidney needs a stop bad. They could also use a turnover, in all honesty. Something to energize the Sidney sideline. Sidney, give them credit. I think they might have more fans here at the stadium than the Wahoo Warriors. Back to pass. Kaminsky looking downfield. It's a dump off screen to Brigham. Brigham is unable to get away from the tackler. A great defensive stop by Kaiser. He screamed in there from the second level and was able to take Brigham down. Great job by Kaiser. Another loss of a couple, and that's going to bring up even 3rd and longer. It was 1st and 23, then it was 2nd and 28, and now it's 3rd and 31. Wahoo going the wrong direction here, and Sidney has a chance to force a punt. 3rd down and 31. Ball is on the Wahoo 21-yard line. They got to get all the way to the Sidney 48-yard line if they want to stay alive here. Wahoo leads it 20-0. I would imagine that we'll see a Sidney timeout as well if they can stop this one. And before the snap on 3rd down, we have a whistle and a penalty flag that comes in from the back official. It's going to be a delay of game on the Warriors. You can hear the wind rustling in our crowd mic up here on the 6th floor of the stadium. So after the delay of game, it is now going to be 3rd down and 36. It all started, and don't forget, on that 1st down play, they actually had a 9-yard pass completion to Kip Brigham. So it was going to be 2nd down and 1. But then it was a spot foul.
There was a timeout by Wahoo prior to a foul.
Wow, they're going to award Wahoo a timeout. So they're going to say that Chad Gillespie, our head referee, just had to correct himself and said that they are going to reward Wahoo with their final timeout of the quarter instead of taking the delay of game penalty. So, all right, instead of 3rd and 36, it is 3rd and 31. Sidney's ready to get back out there on defense. They're starting to feel a little bit better about themselves. Some great defensive plays here, especially on this drive, especially from Kean Kaiser. So Wahoo will break the huddle. 3rd and 31. Kaminsky will be in the shotgun. Brigham will be to his left side. As they stand at their own 15, the ball is placed at the 21. They got to get to the Sidney 48-yard line. They motion the slot receiver from top to bottom. Now he reverses direction and heads back to the right. It's a counter play. Kip Brigham goes nowhere. He is immediately stopped at the line of scrimmage. And how about this? Stop me if you've heard me say this before on this drive. A loss of yards on the play. A great job. And guess who was there on the stop again? Kean Kaiser. Sidney immediately calls a timeout with 2:22 to play in the second quarter. And it will be 4th and 32 from their own 20-yard line with 2 minutes, 22 seconds remaining. Once again, Nick Sainert with you from Memorial Stadium as we turn our attention close to halftime here. We'll send it back to our 93.7 The Ticket studios for the halftime show. The Ticket team back there holding down the fort. Appreciate them as I spend the Monday and Tuesday at Memorial. Jay Foreman will join me for the second and third game here today. 20-0 is your score right now, currently with Wahoo leading Sidney. But Sidney is going to get another crack at it on offense before the end of the half. It is 4th and a mile, 4th and 32. The return man, Reese Dorsey, is standing at his own 45-yard line. Sidney feels like they should probably get some decent field position. We saw Wahoo be the beneficiaries of some punts into the wind in that first quarter. We'll see if Sidney can be the beneficiary here. What a great punt. It's a line drive into the stiff wind. It's fielded by a backpedaling Dorsey at the 38-yard line. Penalty flag on the play as Dorsey reverses direction, gets across the 45, and tackled at the own 48-yard line. How about that? It is a 36-yard punt, 4-yard return. Reese Dorsey on the return for the Red Raiders, but now there's a penalty marker laying at the 40-yard line. It is on Sidney on a block in the back. Block in the back. And so that will drive Sidney back a little farther. And with 2:09 to play in the second quarter, it'll be 1st and 10 for the Red Raiders offense. We'll see where they end up spotting this ball. It's going to be spotted at the 30-yard line. All right, so 1st and 10 from their own 30-yard line for the Sidney Red Raiders after the block in the back. And so they will have the wind at their back, blowing at 18 miles an hour towards the south end zone. Shotgun formation, 2 wideouts, far side, 1 to the near side. Running back to the right is Dorsey. He gets the toss on 1st down, cuts up field, and he's heading towards that sideline. They're going to say he did get out of bounds, so the clock will stop, and Dorsey is pushed out about 5 yards past the line of scrimmage at the 36. For 2nd down and 4 coming up. Ball is placed on the 34-yard line. Shotgun formation. Doty, the quarterback, with 2 INTs on the day. They hand it off to Dorsey. Dorsey just dives forward across the 37-yard line and down at the 38. And a little bit of extracurricular activities there between a Red Raider and a Warrior defender. But it's broken up real quickly. Harrison Kruger getting into it with Kyle Jaggers. All right, from the 38-yard line, it is 3rd and 2. Very little urgency here for the Sidney Red Raiders in the late stages of the first half. Second quarter, 1:27 to play. 20-0 Wahoo with the lead. Shotgun formation. They turn, hand it off. Dorsey on the right side needs 2 yards. He gets 3 up to the 41-yard line with 1:18 to play in the second quarter. It's 1st and 10 Sidney.
That run was good for a Sidney. 1st down.
A little bit of an enthusiastic cheer from the Red Raiders fans. And with 1:12 to play in the second quarter, it's 1st and 10. Back to pass Doty. Quick pass near side. Pass deflected. Good job there defensively as that is incomplete. A great deflection there. Number 18, Jace Steiskol, the senior linebacker, able to get a mid on it as it was trending towards the receiver, Kaiser, in space. 1 minute, 5 seconds remain here in the second quarter. It's 20-0 Wahoo. Wahoo had a comfortable win last year, 47-7 over Central City in the 2024 state championship game. Sidney trying all they can do to not let that happen to them here today. Here's Hawley on the jet toss, left side. Hawley cuts upfield, has some running room, now bounces outside the numbers, gets a gain of 9 up to the 49-yard line. We'll call it a gain of 8, rather, up to the 49-yard line. And it's going to be 2nd down and short for the Wahoo, or rather 3rd down and short, for the Sidney Red Raiders offense. All right, shotgun formation here for the Sidney offense. They turn, hand it off. Dorsey up the middle. He goes, powers his way across midfield, and he's going to get the 1st down. 32 seconds to play. Both teams are out of timeouts. 32 seconds, 1st and 10. Sidney needs to get something going in the vertical passing game here as they trail 20-0. They turn, fake the handoff, back to pass, going to take a shot downfield. Doty, it's underthrown, it's picked off. Once again, the Wahoo Warriors come up with another interception. This time it's Landon Fye. They had a receiver open on the far side of the field in Jaggers, but it was severely underthrown by the quarterback, Alec Doty. And that's another interception for this Wahoo defense. 20-0 is your score. Wahoo takes over 1st and 10 at their own 15-yard line after forcing another turnover. And I would imagine that Chad Fox on that sideline for Wahoo was just saying, hey, let's be content with going into the half. They are not, though. They're going to come out in the traditional pistol formation. Kip Brigham is lined up behind Kaminsky, one wide out each side. And now they will kneel it down for the expiration of the second quarter. All right, that's the end of the first half here in the Class C1 state championship game. After Sidney came out, dominated the time of possession in the first quarter. They didn't score points, but they dominated time of possession in that first quarter. Wahoo has stormed back, forced a couple of turnovers as well, and that is the end of the first half. Your score, the Wahoo Warriors 20, the Sidney Red Raiders 0. We'll step aside, send it back to our 93.7 The Ticket studios for the halftime show here on 93.7 The Ticket.
At Doane University, we build leaders, and that means your success and achievements come first. Now is the time to get a glimpse into living and learning at Doane University through a personalized in-person or virtual visit. We know once you experience Doane, you'll see why it's a place where you can achieve your goals and shape your future. Schedule your personal campus visit today at doane.edu/visit.
If you're a homeowner or a business owner, you have a lot of projects, and no one has an unlimited budget or time. Sunbelt Rentals makes all jobs less stressful with no need to purchase large equipment or hire a crew. You can do it yourself with rentals and everything from aerators and power rakes for spring yard work to stump grinders, concrete mixers, tile saws, and more. Check out their inventory in Lincoln, north of Cornhusker Highway on 56th Street, or online at sunbeltrentals.com. There's only one place this holiday season to shop for the sports fan in your life and get cash back for slightly used sports items you don't need anymore. Play It Again Sports. Check out their selection of new and used items, including home fitness equipment like treadmills, exercise bikes, and ellipticals, and get your lift on with free weights, benches, and racks to add to your home gym. And don't forget, if you have anything slightly used to trade in, they'll give you instant cash. Holiday shopping starts and ends at Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
At Jimmy John's, we don't make sandwiches. We make the sandwich of sandwiches. We use fresh veggies because we don't hate salads. We just feel bad for them. We make our sandwiches exactly how you want because you're the one who's eating it. And we bake bread all day, every day because stale bread isn't bread. It's croutons. Sandwich history is written by the victors. Good thing we have legible handwriting. Jimmy John's, the sandwich of sandwiches. Order pickup or delivery on the app.
Your possibilities are endless at Doane University. Rooted in liberal arts, you can choose from undergraduate and graduate programs, all delivering real-world experience. At Doane University, we take a personal approach to education, giving you the guidance you need to own your future. It's not just our long history of innovative learning, it's the feeling of being surrounded by possibilities that makes us different. Now is your time. Apply today at doane.edu/apply.
You are listening to Nebraska High School Football Championships here, Class C1 on 93.7 The Ticket. I'm Jake Bachman back in studio. We'll send it back out to Nick Sainert for the second half once that thing gets started. Right now, Wahoo off to a good start, 20-0 at the break. The Warriors leading the Sidney Red Raiders in the championship game today. The action got started off with Kip Brigham scoring his 46th rushing touchdown on the year. And so he scored there. They followed that with a long touchdown pass to get the 14-0 lead and add another one before the break. So again, 20-0, Wahoo up on the Sidney Red Raiders at the break. And it's been fun last couple of days here with the state football championships going on. If you did not hear, there were 3 champions crowned the other day. All of that could be heard here on 93.7 The Ticket. You can go back to our YouTube page or theticketfm.com to find those calls on those games. Nick Standard doing a wonderful job out there at Memorial Stadium. Jay Foreman has been joining him for the afternoon and nightcap. Yesterday, Class D1, Sandy Creek was crowned champion back-to-back after beating Crofton 66-26. Once again, they're in Class D1. Class D2, still another high-scoring affair, I should say, as Why Not defeated St. Mary's 71-60. So congratulations to Sandy Creek and Why Not and their fans here in the capital city for making the trip and getting the win. The nightcap last night was number 1 seed Waverly over the 2 seed Gretna East, 42-27. See some Waverly pride. A couple more Waverly shirts as I've made it into work here today. So congratulations again to Waverly for their win there in Class B. Again, 42-27 over Gretna East. Once again, at halftime here, Wahoo up on Sidney 20-0. So we'll see what the second half holds to see if the Warriors or the Red Raiders will be crowned here this afternoon. Later today in the afternoon game, I should say, around 2:45 will be the kickoff time for the 4-seed Grand Island Central Catholic against the 2-seed Bishop Newman in Class C2 for the championship game there. And then Class A championship game tonight, 7:15, start time for Millard South in Papillion, La Vista South. So just a magical time here in the capital city, here in Lincoln downtown, and over there at Memorial Stadium. Memories will be made, and for a lot of folks, of course, their one opportunity to play at Memorial Stadium. So very cool stuff going on. Again, we'll send it back out to Nick Sainert for the second half once it gets going. Till then, we've got a little bit of halftime report to do, so might as well let you know what's going on today. If you missed it in the NFL last night, 49ers defeated the Panthers 20-9. 49ers improve with that victory to 8-4. They're in a very loaded NFC West outside of my Arizona Cardinals, unfortunately. Panthers fall to 6-6. They're still battling near the top of their division, but an important game here as they do fall. Christian McCaffrey, it was dubbed the Christian McCaffrey game. Of course, it was the first time that McCaffrey played against his former team. 142 total yards for Christian McCaffrey and a touchdown against the Panthers. And, of course, it is Thanksgiving week, so I want to get you ready for Thanksgiving Day. Green Bay at Detroit, 7-3 Green Bay at 7-4 Detroit will kick off the festivities on Thursday, on Turkey Day, noon on Fox. Can't be Thanksgiving without Detroit Lions. Used to be losing a game, but they're a pretty good team. Either way, pretty good matchup with Green Bay, so will be a fun rivalry there. Perfect way to start the Thanksgiving Day. KC at Dallas is going to be the afternoon game, 3:30 there on CBS. Kansas City, of course, struggling a little bit this year compared to their standards, 6-5 so far on the year. Dallas really going to have to turn it on if they're going to make a playoff run, 5-1, but they've always got an entertaining offense, so that should be a fun game. The nightcap, maybe more was expected when they scheduled this thing from Cincinnati. Of course, it's been a tough year for Joe Burrow on the shelf, and of course, head coach Zach Taylor there. They're 3-8 entering this game. For a while there, it looked like this was going to be a real bad game, but Baltimore has turned around their season. Remember, the Ravens started 1-5. They will host this game against Cincinnati, by the way. They're now 6-5. So that will be the nightcap there, 7:20 on NBC. One other game will be played on Friday, and then the rest of them on Sunday. I will not mention that game on Friday out of I'm still a little bit upset as a college football fan. Black Friday used to be just for college football. The NFL stuck in there. So we'll get to that here in a second. It should be noted, though, on the hardwood, Nebraska basketball, both men's and women's, will be in action this evening. Nebraska women actually were in action last night, beat Purdue Fort Wayne, the Mastodons, 80-57. Brett Prince led the way for the Huskers with 18 points, 40 points off the bench for Nebraska. You'll definitely take that every time out. Now the Huskers will play today against Virginia, in the Emerald Coast Classic down in Florida. This will be the championship game of that bracket, 7:30 this evening for Nebraska women. Nebraska men have made their run. I mean, they've made their mark, 6-0 on the season so far. And the AP poll came out the other day. They had them tied for 30th in the AP poll. Of course, the AP poll just the top 25, but if you count the others receiving votes, Nebraska getting the 30th most votes in the AP poll, and that is impressive. I expect them to be ranked here a few times or hopefully, get in and stay in before season's in. And they're going to want to do that early because the Big Ten is going to be a bear. 6 ranked teams in the Big Ten right now, led by number 1 Purdue. If you follow like I said, the others receiving votes category, 8 teams are currently ranked ahead or have more votes than Nebraska right now. A total of 12 teams are either ranked or receiving votes. So that's 2/3 of the conference. Going to be a tough conference this year. Huskers, speaking of tough, might get a tough one from the Winthrop Eagles tonight. 7:30 on BTN. If you can't make it to Pinnacle Bank Arena is where you can check out that game. Winthrop just 3-3 entering the game, but did take number 22 Arkansas to the brink, losing 84-83 here recently in this season. So that should be a good test for Nebraska, and we'll see what they can do. We've kind of described the team again, and I myself guilty of it as well, as a team that's going to do well as long as they shoot well. Well, they didn't shoot particularly well, but Kansas State and really played one of their better basketball games in their last time out. So we'll see. Hopefully they can do both, play well and shoot well this evening against Winthrop. Just to keep everybody in loop on what's going on with the rest of the Nebraska teams there. Nebraska volleyball will take on Penn State on Friday at 5:30 from the Bob Devaney Sports Center. They will also finish off their season, actually, Saturday night at 8 o'clock, a late one, against Ohio State. So that will be exciting. Nebraska volleyball, with their win this past weekend over Indiana, is already the outright champions in the Big Ten. But, of course, if you followed this season, they've only dropped just one set this year in Big Ten play. So would be nice if they were close to chasing perfection, right? But that one set that they dropped to UCLA will prevent that. But one way or the other, job well done for the ladies there winning the Big Ten championship. They, of course, have been very down over the last several years on their pursuit here of a national title. And, of course, Nebraska football. They will be playing against Iowa. Black Friday football, 11 a.m. on CBS down there at Memorial Stadium as well. We'll have the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show as well as postgame shows to follow that. So stay tuned for that here on Friday. Of course, Nebraska coming off a difficult loss, not the most inspiring performance, I suppose, against Penn State, 37-10. But not too long to think about it because Iowa is coming to town, and Iowa has had Nebraska's number for the better part of a decade. And I hate to say it that way, but that's how it is. Iowa is 9-1 against Nebraska the last 10 years. That's amazing in and of itself. Maybe even more amazing, Nebraska 1-6 versus Iowa in Lincoln since joining the Big Ten. And they haven't beat the Hawkeyes in Lincoln since 2011, the first matchup in the Big Ten. 6 straight losses. I believe I saw earlier on Twitter. That's the most that an opposing team has won in Memorial Stadium as far as a streak goes since 1960. So hopefully Nebraska can snap that against the Hawkeyes. Hasn't necessarily been like Iowa has just steamrolled Nebraska. Last 7 meetings have been decided by one possession, one way or the other, again, more often than not for Iowa. Iowa has had 4 game-winning field goals since 2018 against Nebraska, so no surprise if it comes down to that again. They did so in 2018, 19, 23, and 2024. So it is time for Nebraska to maybe catch up and get some revenge there. And one more reminder for you that it is Feast Week in college basketball. So if you happen to have a few more days off or you're enjoying the games here at Memorial Stadium for whatever reason, maybe just you want to enter the break room and check out some things, is that there's college basketball on throughout the day, both yesterday and today. The Players Era Festival going on. One that certainly is interesting to mention here, 1 o'clock on True TV, is Iowa State and Creighton. Creighton, of course, kind of a rebuilt roster there, 3-2 on the season against 5-0 Iowa State. So that one maybe to keep on your radar. You don't have to watch it, right? You don't have to watch it, but keep it on your radar. You don't have to watch too much Creighton. Other top 25 matchup here from today, 5 o'clock this evening. Number 17, Tennessee will take on number 3, Houston. Both those teams undefeated. Again, that part of the Players Era Festival. And in the Big Ten, a top 25 matchup as well. at least for one side of is in the Big Ten. The number 7 ranked Michigan Wolverines will take on the 21st ranked Auburn Tigers in the Players Era Festival as well. So let's go ahead and take a quick break. That'll wrap up the halftime show here on 93.7 The Ticket. We will be back with the second half of Nebraska high school football's Class C1 championship game between Wahoo and Sidney. Once again, Wahoo up 20-0 at the break. Don't go anywhere. I'll send it out to Nick Senator, on the call for the second half in just a moment.
Attention, Nebraska sports fans. Are you ready to take your skills to the next level? The Army National Guard is looking for leaders who are dedicated, driven, and ready to make a difference. Join up and gain invaluable experience while serving your country with a flexible schedule, competitive benefits, and a chance to build a strong future. Learn more at nationalguard.com/Nebraska. Live here, serve here. The Nebraska Army National Guard. Guard the good life. There's only one place this holiday season to shop for the sports fan in your life and get cash back for slightly used sports items you don't need anymore. Play It Again Sports. Check out their selection of new and used items, including home fitness equipment like treadmills, exercise bikes, and ellipticals, and get your lift on with free weights, benches, and racks to add to your home gym. And don't forget, if you have anything slightly used to trade in, they'll give you instant cash. Holiday shopping starts and ends at Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine. If you're a homeowner or a business owner, you have a lot of projects, and no one has an unlimited budget or time. Sunbelt Rentals makes all jobs less stressful with no need to purchase large equipment or hire a crew. You can do it yourself with rentals and everything from aerators and power rakes for spring yard work to stump grinders, concrete mixers, tile saws, and more. Check out their inventory in Lincoln, north of Cornhusker Highway on 56th Street, or online at sunbeltrentals.com.
Your possibilities are endless at Doane University. Rooted in liberal arts, you can choose from undergraduate and graduate programs, all delivering real-world experience. At Doane University, we take a personal approach to education, giving you the guidance you need to own your future. It's not just our long history of innovative learning, it's the feeling of being surrounded by possibilities that makes us different. Now is your time. Apply today at doane.edu/apply.
There's only one place this holiday season to shop for the sports fan in your life and get cash back for slightly used sports items you don't need anymore. Play It Again Sports. Check out their selection of new and used items, including home fitness equipment like treadmills, exercise bikes, and ellipticals, and get your lift on with free weights, benches, and racks to add to your home gym. And don't forget, if you have anything slightly used to trade in, they'll give you instant cash. Holiday shopping starts and ends at Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Welcome back to high school football on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in Memorial Stadium here, the Class C1 state championship game as Wahoo dominates the first half in all facets of the game. 20-0, Wahoo leads it over the Sidney Red Raiders. Wahoo will also get the ball to start the third quarter here in just a moment, less than a minute or so until we get ready to go here at the start of the third quarter. Thanks to Bach and the team back in our 93.7 The Ticket studios, taking you through halftime. As always, you can reach out to us on the text line. Let us know where you're listening from, and we always appreciate the feedback. You can listen to us, whether it's on the FM dial, the mobile app that works everywhere, the website stream on theticketfm.com, or on our Starter Heyman Jewelers live video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or X and Allo Cable Channel 961, all places for you guys and avenues for you to listen to throughout all of our state football coverage. We have two more games coming up after today, or after this one, I should say. 2:45 kickoff in the C2 state championship game between Grand Island Central Catholic and Bishop Newman. And then tonight, it's Class A action between Millard South and Papillion La Vista South. And so once again, Wahoo will get ready to receive the second half kickoff. They are up 20-0 in that first half for Wahoo. You have Jace Kaminsky still perfect on the day throwing the ball. 5 for 5 through the air, 84 yards and a touchdown. A big bulk of that came on that 62-yard touchdown pass to Eli Shada. On the ground, Kip Brigham, 13 carries, 41 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns for him. Wahoo is 2 for 4 on third down conversions right now. They've only ran 21 plays on offense, but once again, 20-0 in the scoreboard is the most important thing for Chad Fox in this Warriors sideline. Now for Sidney, the results and the stat lines aren't as pretty. Alec Doty, the quarterback for the Red Raiders, 4 for 10 passing, 35 yards, no touchdowns, 3 INTs. Reese Dorsey on the ground hasn't been able to get going either. 15 carries for 35 yards. His long run of the day has been of 6. All right, we're ready to go here. Wahoo will field it going towards the north here at Memorial Stadium. It's going to be a short squib onside kick attempt, fielded relatively smoothly by the Wahoo up back, and it is going to be ran up across the 45-yard line to the 47-yard line, and so Wahoo will start their drive 1st and 10 at their own 47. So Kip Brigham in that first half, 13 carries, 41 yards. The future Nebraska Kearney Loper comes out as the starting running back, and I would expect a huge dose of Kip Brigham here in the 3rd and 4th quarter. Kaminsky sets up in the shotgun, Brigham to his right. One wide out each side. There is one in the slot as well on the far right side. They look to pass, throw on first down into that slot receiver, intended for number 5, Eli Shada. It is incomplete. That's Kaminsky's first incomplete pass of the day, and it brings up 2nd down and 10 from the 47-yard line.
Pass incomplete, intended for Eli Shada. Reese Dorsey on the coverage.
So that brings up 2nd down and 10, ball on the 47-yard line for Wahoo. They're on the left hash mark as the Warriors will break the huddle. Exiting the field of play is Harrison Kruger as he jogs back to the sideline. Brigham lined up behind Kaminsky in the backfield. They turn, run the speed option to the right side. Kaminsky now cuts up field, spun around, still drags tacklers about 3 yards past the line of scrimmage. It's going to be 3rd down and 7, coming up in just a moment for the Wahoo Warriors offense. Kean Kaiser in on the stop for Sidney on that play. And a big chance for Sidney's defense to come out and immediately get a stop and force a Wahoo punt. 3rd down and 7. Just underway here in quarter number 3. 20-0 Wahoo in the C1 state championship game. Shotgun set. Brigham to the left of Kaminsky. They motion a receiver. That's Shada from top to bottom. They hand it off to Kaminsky, rather Brigham. He fumbles it, and they jump on the loose ball. And so another fumble by Wahoo on 3rd and 7. They now lose 2 yards, and that's going to bring up 4th down and 9. And here comes the Wahoo Warriors punt unit. Reese Dorsey will be back deep to field this punt for Sidney. Sidney's not out of this game by any means. Down by 3 scores, 10.5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. A lot of time here in high school football. Kristen is standing back at his own 33-yard line, ready to punt this one away with the wind in his face. It's a low-line drive kick, a great punt. Takes a friendly Wahoo bounce. Dorsey's going to let it keep on rolling inside the 12 and down at the 10. A great job as there's an injured Red Raider laying on the Nebraska logo at midfield. But nonetheless, a great job by Wahoo's punt coverage team to down this one inside the 11 at the 10-yard line. And so Sidney will have to work 90 yards, which is more than the number of total yards they have on the entire day. Sidney has generated just 77 yards of offense compared to Wahoo's 138. 10 minutes and 18 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. We'll keep it right here. 20-0 is your score. Wahoo out in front. 47 degrees right now here at Memorial Stadium with an 18-mile-an-hour wind. It's going to feel a little cooler than that 47 degrees. But I mentioned in the first quarter or first half, I can't remember which one specifically, but I mentioned that yesterday it was cloudy the entire day. And so it took a little bit of the warmth away, but now today that sun is shining bright. We actually just had a military plane a few moments ago fly directly over the stadium. It was during halftime. We were not on the air at the time, but you could hear it. The sounds echoed in Memorial Stadium here. 20-0 is your score. 10-18 to play in the third quarter. Out of the media timeout, and after they tended to the injured Red Raider, and they still do on the sideline, it is 20-0. 1st and 10 for the Red Raiders offense at their own 10-yard line. We'll see, can Alec Doty put something together here for this Red Raider offense? Reese Dorsey in the backfield, even Kean Kaiser, who's been a factor in the running and receiving game. But here it is, 1st and 10. Dorsey to the left side. They motion Jaggers from bottom to top. Quarterback keeper Doty, there he goes. It's going to be a gain of 6 yards, maybe even 7. No, it's going to stay at 6 yards. And Alec Doty is slow to get up. Stay School was the one that delivered the hit. Doty tried to give himself up, but one thing that I've noticed not only throughout the entire season, but really here on this field, a lot of these smaller towns, not necessarily Wahoo and Sidney, but even in Class D yesterday, more accustomed to playing on grass, so they might slide a little bit more. Instead, here on turf, might get stuck in it. And there's been a little bit more of indecisiveness from the quarterbacks of whether or not to slide down, go down, give themselves up. And we've seen it at times to where when the quarterback has tried to, they actually kind of get their foot and cleats stuck in the turf, and they go down kind of awkwardly because they're not giving themselves up officially, and so the defender will come in and deliver a hit. We saw Doty hurt his ankle earlier in the game. It looks like he's favoring that left ankle. He's got a massive tape job on that left foot as well. That was the one he got banged up on the first play of the game. He's needing some help from the trainers walking off the field. And so now the backup quarterback, who I believe is Reese Dorsey, comes into the game. He puts the play call sheet on that wrist, and I would expect a lot of run from Reese Dorsey. It's essentially a wildcat formation every single time here for the Sidney Red Raiders. So Doty hobbles over to the bench. He'll take a seat and get looked at by the training professionals. Reese Dorsey out there in the shotgun, trips out to the near side, the short side of the field. Quarterback keeper with Dorsey. He powers his way forward and gets near that first down line to gain. He's going to be about a yard shy at the 19-yard line. So not a great start to the second half for Sidney health-wise. They've lost 2 guys in the first 2.5 minutes of game time to injuries for the time being. Sidney looking for their first title in school history. Wahoo destined to go back-to-back if they can win today. Reese Dorsey on the day, 15 carries, 35 rushing yards. Shotgun formation, Dorsey lined up as the backup quarterback. He runs to the right side. It's an option. He fakes the toss, and he goes nowhere. Loss of yards on the play. Wahoo's going to force another Sidney punt as you wonder about the playbook and how expansive it is when Reese Dorsey is in there. Alec Doty is the Sidney punter, so maybe they might go for it, I suppose, down 20-0 with the ball on their own 17-yard line. They're huddling up as if they are going to go for it. Maybe Ryan Smith, the Sidney head coach, is saying we got to get something happening. It does not appear so. They're going to motion Kaiser back to punt. So Kaiser, standing at his own 6-yard line, will have the wind at his back. It's a one-handed snag on the snap. A good punt, end over end. That's a booming kick. It's going to take its first hop at the 32-yard line. Fielded by Brigham. He fumbles the football. Sidney trying to dive on it, but Wahoo comes rushing in, and they're able to fall on the loose pigskin. Sidney almost had it. They should have had it. That was a really risky decision by Kip Brigham. He fielded it on a one-hop, as it bounced straight up in the air. There were two Sidney punt coverage guys right there, and they delivered a hit as soon as Brigham fielded it. He fumbled the football. Sidney was unable to jump on it. They had the first body there. The ball kept rolling and bouncing on that turf, and Wahoo comes flying in to dive on that football. So another bullet dodged by the Wahoo Warriors in the special teams game, and they set up shop 1st and 10 at their own 34. They turn, hand it off. Brigham right up the middle. He goes. He bounces outside after shedding a tackler, but then goes nowhere. A good wrap-up by Kaiser on the left side in between the hashes and the numbers on the near sideline, and he takes Brigham down after a gain of 2. Second down and 8 coming up for the Wahoo Warriors offense. Ball is on the 36-yard line. Alec Doty, the quarterback for Sidney, trying to walk off the stinger on that Sidney sideline. Empty shotgun formation for Kaminsky. Now he motions Brigham in. It's going to be a fake on the handoff, and it will be a penalty flag, a false start on the Wahoo offense.
Dead ball. False start. Gives the offense. Number 46. 5-yard penalty. Replay second down.
So after the false start, they will replay second down. It's going to be a loss of 5, obviously, on the penalty. This makes it second down and 13 instead of 2nd and 8. They were motioning Kip Brigham to fake the handoff to him on the jet toss, or pass, I guess, if it was a jet toss. But nonetheless, Kaminsky was going to keep it and run it to the right side, but a false start delayed it. So here we go, second down and 13 from their own 31. Kaminsky back to pass into the wind, passes it left side. It's out of reach of Brigham on the near sideline. 2 Red Raider defenders were in the area. In number 44 for Sidney, Kale Kaiser, and number 4, Cash Kenobi. There was a Husker baseball player back in the late 2000s, potentially early 2010s, an infielder by the name of Kale Kaiser. Not the same one that's playing for Sidney today, though. Snap back to Kaminsky. He's back to pass, rolling to his left on 3rd and 13. He sets up, now plants, rolls back to the right side. He has blockers. Great job. He throws off 1 foot. Pass is almost intercepted. It should have been going the other way as he threw it into triple coverage. The Wahoo receiver did not have a chance at it. It was batted down, should have been intercepted by Kyle Jaggers. Jaggers had a lot of real estate. The entire Wahoo offense was on the left side of the field. The pass was thrown to the far side. Jaggers could have been running for days, potentially for 6, but he was unable to hold on to the football. However, Sidney is going to force a punt, a much-needed punt, to get the ball back here in the midway point of the third quarter. Christian to punt for Wahoo. Good snap, line drive punt into the wind. Takes a bounce, fielded on the hop by Sidney. Going the other way, here comes Dorsey. Dorsey gets across the 40-yard line and is tackled down at the 42. And now Reese Dorsey's slow to get up, but seems to be okay.
Returned by Reese Dorsey.
6 minutes, 43 seconds to play in the third quarter. 20-0 is your score in favor of the Wahoo Warriors. And we have a timeout on the field. We'll step aside and take one with them. We will be back here in just a few moments from Memorial Stadium in the Class C1 state championship game on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
There's only one place this holiday season to shop for the sports fan in your life and get cash back for slightly used sports items you don't need anymore. Play It Again Sports. Check out their selection of new and used items, including home fitness equipment like treadmills, exercise bikes, and ellipticals, and get your lift on with 3 weights, benches, and racks to add to your home gym. And don't forget, if you have anything slightly used to trade in, they'll give you instant cash. Holiday shopping starts and ends at Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Now back to high school football on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Nick Sainer back with you from Memorial Stadium as we are getting ready for 1st and 10 from the Sidney Red Raiders 42-yard line. 6:43 to play in the third quarter. 20-0, your score. Here's the handoff up the middle to Kaiser as Reese Dorsey is still in there at quarterback after Alec Doty trying to get that left ankle taped up on that Sidney sideline.
Brought down by Mateo Ramirez and Grady Meyer. 3-yard gain, 2nd down, 7.
So once again, 2nd down and 7 now from the 45-yard line. One wide out each side, 2 running backs in the backfield with Reese Dorsey lined up at quarterback. Dorsey on 2nd down and 7 with 6 minutes to play in the third. Takes the snap. He's going to run it forward himself, and trying to drag him forward is one of his offensive linemen, but 3 outweighs 1, and the Wahoo Warriors drive him back after a 2-yard gain. 3rd down and 4 coming up for the Sidney offense.
Brings up 3rd down, 4 on the Sidney 48.
Just not a whole lot of passing ability here in the third quarter in this ball game with Doty not in there. Sidney has it 3rd down and 4 from their own 48-yard line. Potentially in 4-down territory. The wind is at their back. It keeps on creeping up there, measuring at 20 miles an hour here at Memorial Stadium. The handoff on 3rd down. It's Kaiser. Kaiser continues to barrel forward across midfield and to the 45-yard line. A nice job by Kean Kaiser as he's able to get a 1st down for Sidney. And Sidney, on their 38th play of the day, finally gets another 1st down. They've just been so stagnant on offense, and it's because when they've thrown the ball, it's been an interception 3 of the 10 times. And on the ground as a team, they are averaging 2.2 yards per carry, 28 carries for 62 yards as a team. Dorsey takes the snap, runs it himself, continues to lower the helmet. There's a nice run by Dorsey on 1st down. He gets 7 yards on 1st, and it's going to bring up 2nd down and 3 with 4 minutes and 42 seconds to play in the third quarter.
Gain of 7, 2nd down, 3.
Four and a half minutes to play, quarter number 3 in the C1 state championship game. Nick Sainert with you from Memorial Stadium. Jake Bachhoven back in our 93.7 The Ticket studios. 1 wide out each side, 2 in the backfield. There's Dorsey, the snap back, the handoff. Here is Jaggers. Jaggers goes nowhere. Maybe got a yard on that 2nd down run. And it is going to be 3rd down and 2 from the Wahoo 37-yard line. 3rd down and 3 from the 38, rather. Doty still being tended to on that Sidney sideline. They're trying to really tape up that ankle and try to stabilize it as much as possible. Sidney needs to get to the 35-yard line for a 1st down and keep this drive alive. Here we go with Sidney. 3 minutes and 40 seconds to go in the third quarter. The play clock was trickling down under 5 seconds, and Ryan Smith wants to talk things over. With 3 minutes and 40 seconds to play in the third quarter, it's 20-0 Wahoo. We'll step aside, come back in 30 seconds here from Memorial Stadium on 93.7 The Ticket.
At Jimmy John's, we don't make sandwiches. We make the sandwich of sandwiches. We use fresh veggies because we don't hate salads. We just feel bad for them. We make our sandwiches exactly how you want because you're the one who's eating it. And we bake bread all day, every day because stale bread isn't bread. It's croutons. Sandwich history is written by the victors. Good thing we have legible handwriting. Jimmy John's, the sandwich of sandwiches. Order pickup or delivery on the app.
Now back to high school football on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in Memorial Stadium, the site for the Class C1 state championship game. Nick Sainert, Jay Foreman will join me for games 2 and 3 here today on the ticket. 2:45 is kickoff for our next matchup in the C2 class. Now a quarterback keeper, Dorsey powers it right side for a first down up to the 33-yard line, a gain of 5 when they only needed 3, and it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Sidney offense. A nice job by Reese Dorsey. 1st and 10 coming up for the Sidney Red Raiders.
That run was good for a Sidney. First down.
3 minutes and 21 seconds to play in the third quarter. Sidney trying to crack the scoreboard for the first time today. They are just outside the 30-yard line at the 33. Shotgun set, 2 wideouts each side. They turn, fake the handoff. Now Kaiser has it left side, and he gets maybe a yard up to the 32-yard line. And once again, there's a penalty flag on the play this time. Once again, 2.4 yards per carry for this Sidney offense is just not going to get it done, especially on the other side. Even Wahoo, Sidney's done a pretty good job against Kip Brigham. 14 carries, 43 yards, but there's been a couple of back-breaking plays and big interceptions forced by the Wahoo defense that Alec Doty threw that have really changed the tide of this game. And the one thing that Sidney cannot afford is to go backwards right now. It's a 10-yard holding call to make it 1st down and 20 from the 43-yard line now.
After the penalty, 1st down, 20.
So Doty is running on that sideline. He hurt his ankle a few moments ago, hurt it earlier in the game as well. They had his left shoe off and were tending and taping that left foot. But here on 1st and 20, Dorsey back to pass. Dorsey looking, surveying downfield. He gets hit as he throws. It's lobbed. It's somehow hauled in inside the 30-yard line. Wow, what a fortuitous grab by Kean Kaiser just outside the 25-yard line, down at the 27, and it's going to be 2nd down and short coming up for the Sidney Red Raiders offense. Dorsey was hit as he threw,
Stopped by Harrison Krieger and Grady Meyer.
and it just floated over the Wahoo defenders. And fortunately enough for Sidney, their drive stays alive. It's 2nd down and 4 from the 27. Once again, a fortuitous throw that found the lap of the Sidney wide receiver, Kean Kaiser. They turn, hand it off. Here's Kaiser again. Big hole up the middle, inside the 20, inside the 10, and down right at the, they're going to mark him down at the 12 rather, excuse me. I thought he got inside the 10 to the 9, but instead they're going to mark him down at the 12, and that's another Red Raider 1st down, 1st and 10 on the 12. 1 minute, 45 seconds to play, third quarter, 20-0 is your score. Two running backs in the backfield, and Jaggers and Kaiser. Dorsey takes the snap. He keeps it himself, runs up the middle of the pile, and drives himself inside the 10-yard line, a gain of 4 to the 8. To bring up 2nd down and 6. As you heard, Ramirez on the stop for Wahoo. It's going to be 2nd down and 7 officially from the 9. Second down and 7 from the 9. 56 seconds remain in the third quarter. Sidney trying to crack the scoreboard for the first time today. Dorsey takes the snap. They motion a receiver. That's Hawley. Hawley on the edge, trying to get to the perimeter. Stiff arms the defender, gets upended after a 2-yard gain to the 7-yard line.
Brought down by Jason Kaminsky.
Alec Doty trying to warm back up on the sideline. Looks like he's able to plant on that left leg. And he's throwing the ball with some reserves on that Sidney sideline directly below me. It is a big 3rd down and 5 coming up for the Sidney Red Raiders offense. This is a drive that's taken over 3.5 minutes of game time. We have less than 15 seconds remaining in the third quarter. They will have to snap it before the end of the period. 3rd and 5. Shotgun set. They motion him. Hawley. Now they get stumbled. Dorsey keeps it himself. He will go nowhere. And that will be the end of the third quarter. And on the other side, as we begin the final period of play, it'll be 4th down and 6 for Sidney from the 8-yard line. We'll step aside, come back as we start the fourth quarter of play. Wahoo leads the C1 title game 20-0 here on 93.7 The Ticket.
At Jimmy John's, we don't make sandwiches. We make the sandwich of sandwiches. We use fresh veggies because we don't hate salads. We just feel bad for them. We make our sandwiches exactly how you want because you're the one who's eating it. And we bake bread all day, every day because stale bread isn't bread. It's croutons. Sandwich history is written by the victors. Good thing we have legible handwriting. Jimmy John's, the sandwich of sandwiches. Order pickup or delivery on the app.
Welcome back to high school football on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Nick Sander back with you from Memorial Stadium as we get ready to start the fourth quarter of play here in the C1 state championship game. Sidney trailing 20-0 to the Wahoo Warriors. They have been on the doorstep. It is going to be 4th and 6 from the 8-yard line. Ryan Smith, the head coach for Sidney, has had plenty of time to now draw something up as the quarter has flipped over. We're still waiting for the quarter. But once again, Sidney on this current drive has taken 11 plays, 50 yards, 6 minutes and 43 seconds of time off the clock. And once again, I mean, if they come up empty on this possession, this is a conversation to where you have taken, if you're Sidney, on 2 separate occasions, 6 minutes and 14 seconds, and then almost 7 full minutes on another occasion off the clock, and it's resulted in 0 points. Now, give credit where credit's due, and that's the Wahoo Warriors defense bowing up. 20-0 your score. As we switch sides, Sidney will be going into the wind here in the fourth period of play. Shotgun formation. Reese Dorsey is still the quarterback as Doty tends to that leg on the sideline. Shotgun set. Jaggers to Dorsey's left. 2 to the top. They looking to pass. Dorsey hesitates. He scrambles, dives, touchdown! Sidney Red Raiders finally strike. Reese Dorsey from 8 yards out gets Sidney on the board. So it was a traditional pass play that they called. Sidney did on that sideline that Dorsey had to improvise. He stepped up in the pocket and was able to just skirt on in for the score to make it 20-6. Now we'll see, does Sidney decide to kick the extra point or go for 2? At first glance, it appears that they will go for 2 to make it a 12-point game. If they do not get it, it's a 14-point game. Dorsey's going to stay out there for the 2-point conversion. Shotgun set. 1 wide out each side. Dorsey rolls to the right, throws it across the middle, tipped, incomplete. As it was in the middle of the end zone intended for Kaiser, and it falls incomplete. So finally, though, the Sidney Red Raiders are able to get on the board in the form of a touchdown. It's 20-6. Wahoo still leads by 14 points, 11:55 to play in the ball game. The wind continues to pick up here. I've talked about it a lot. Folks might be getting tired of me talking about it, but still it was 14 miles an hour when we started at 10:15 a.m. this morning. Now it's currently sitting at 20.2 miles per hour, according to the gauges here at Memorial Stadium. We're sitting at a comfortable 47 degrees, though. We've certainly had colder and windier state championship matchups in previous years. But here, with 11:55 to go in the fourth quarter, Sidney going to kick this one back off. They will kick into the wind. I would imagine that they will try to make it a short squib or even attempt an onside here. Sidney is 50% on third down conversions. 7 of 14 on the day. A line drive kick. They're going to send it, get it back as number 2. This is Landon Fye on the return. Fye cuts upfield, has a little bit of running room, now reverses direction and takes a hard hit across the 35-yard line. A little gingerly getting, or a little slow to get up, and he's taken down at the 37-yard line. And so it's going to be 1st and 10 for Wahoo at their own 37. Once again at 2:45 p.m. this afternoon, it'll be Grand Island Central Catholic going up against Bishop Neumann. GICC looking for their first state title in school history. Jay Foreman will be on the call with me for that one as they turn, handed off Brigham here, right side, carries it, and immediately gets stood up by the Sidney defense. A good tackle made on the play by Kyle Jaggers, as well as Kean Kaiser. Also in on the stop was Kale Kaiser. Here's another thing that I would say is, man, for Sidney, both offensively and defensively, a lot of the same guys making plays on both sides of the ball. We've said Kean Kaiser's name ad nauseum. We've also talked about Jaggers often, and obviously Reese Dorsey as well. 2nd down and 8 from the 39-yard line. Ball is placed at the 39 of Wahoo. Back to pass, Kaminsky rolling to his left, throws, now looking, still hesitates, is able to evade pressure. Now he's just going to have to tuck it, and he goes down. Kaminsky finally brought down by the Sidney front. In on the stop for the Red Raiders was number 55, Zach Rogesh and Ben Monheiser. We have an official's timeout as it appears Kaminsky slow to get up. And so with that being said, we will step aside as well. We'll take a 60-second break here on 93.7 The Ticket.
Attention, Nebraska sports fans. Are you ready to take your skills to the next level? The Army National Guard is looking for leaders who are dedicated, driven, and ready to make a difference. Join up and gain invaluable experience while serving your country with a flexible schedule, competitive benefits, and a chance to build a strong future. Learn more at nationalguard.com/Nebraska. Live here, serve here. The Nebraska Army National Guard. Guard the good life.
Imagine starting your day with a computer glitch that leaves you feeling stuck, frustrated, and unable to get your work done. You have 1,000,001 things to get done today, and waiting for the tech issue to solve itself isn't one of them. It's time to let Hamilton handle the tech so you don't have to. We help businesses across the state spend more time on what they do best and less time frustrated with office technology. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we're focused on providing custom solutions that set you up for success now and in the future. Connect with us today at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Now back to high school football on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in Memorial Stadium. Jace Kaminsky helped off the field. So now on 3rd down and a mile, Sidney trying to generate some momentum here. It is 3rd and 21. Logan Kelly is now the backup quarterback in for Wahoo. Snap back to Kelly. Pass out right side. Here is Landon Fye. Fye bounces around a couple of times. He will be stopped well short of the 1st down. A gain of maybe 3 or 4 on 3rd down. And it's going to be 4th and long now for the Wahoo Warriors. A nice job by Sidney answering the bell. And they're going to force a Wahoo punt. Reese Dorsey will be planted back near his own 30-yard line. Make it his 25 with the wind at the back of the Wahoo punter. Caden Christian will do the punting duties for the Warriors as we are inside 10 minutes remaining in the 4th quarter. It's a good snap, and the punt is a low line drive end over end. It's going to take a very friendly Wahoo bounce. It's muffed over the shoulder. Reese Dorsey fields it at the 4. He's trying to circle around. He's going to be tackled at the 1. And so Reese Dorsey tried to field it off the hop, but it was muffed, so he had to retreat all the way back to the 4. He fielded it retreating, and he tried to do a little bit of a banana route as He turned towards this near sideline and was immediately tackled at the 1 yard line. Great job in coverage. And one thing to point out, Alec Doty still not back into the game, the starting quarterback for the Sidney Red Raiders. He was injured back in that third quarter. The uprights here at Memorial Stadium are teeter-tottering against that wind. Here, 2 running backs. Dorsey keeps it himself. Did he get out of the end zone? He did. He's down at the half-yard line. Chad Fox was pleading for a safety on that Wahoo sideline, but they're going to say that Dorsey got out of the goal line, and man, oh man, that was close. Once again, he was tackled in the end zone, but they're going to say that the ball was reached across. They do have replay review. But man, for a team in Sidney who has not been able to generate a whole lot on the ground tonight, or this morning rather, they're averaging 2.7 per carry as a team. They're in their own end zone. A jet toss working left to right. Watch out. Here, a lot of room up the near sideline for number 6 in white. That's Carter Lipska. Lipska gets across the 10-yard line. It's a gain of 12 to the 12-yard line. He was taken down by Kip Brigham, and it's going to be a first down for Sidney. That gets them a little bit of breathing room. A risky decision by Ryan Smith on that Sidney sideline to run a jet toss with Carter Lipska rather than just running right up the middle. Wahoo's done a really good job of sealing off the edges on both sides in the run defense game, but yet able to get 12 yards there were the Sidney Red Raiders. Now running left side, here is Dorsey up the middle. He turns the corner, and he gets pushed out of bounds near the 20-yard line, and it's going to be a gain of 8 on first down to make it 2nd and 2. One thing Sidney's going to have to do, as they have 2 timeouts remaining, a little bit of urgency here if you're the Sidney Red Raiders.
Second down, 2.
Second down and 2, 8 minutes and 25 seconds remain here in the ball game. The Class C1 state championship game, 20-6. Wahoo leads by 14. They turn, fumble the football. Wahoo tries to bounce on it. Now they do. Wahoo gets the football back. After there was a fumble on the handoff exchange, Landon Fye is able to come in from the secondary, jump on the loose ball, and Wahoo takes over inside the Sidney 15-yard line.
First and 10 Warriors.
So Landon Fye is able to recover the fumble. We've seen both sides have issues holding on to the ball here today. And that time, it finally came back to hurt one of them. And this time, it's the Sidney Red Raiders giving up the loose ball. Now, on first down, the handoff, counter play, Brigham, a lot of running room, and he jogs into the end zone untouched. There's a penalty flag on the play. We will see if this is coming back. There was some extracurricular activity after the play. A Wahoo Warrior offensive lineman's banged up. There's an injured Sidney Red Raider down on the field as well. This one is going to go on number 59 of Wahoo, Reed Kohler. It's going to be a hold against the offense. 8 minutes and 7 seconds remain here in the fourth quarter. 20-6 is your score. Wahoo on top of the Sidney Red Raiders as they continue to tend to the Sidney injured player on the field. While they do that, we will step aside, come back in 60 seconds here on 93.7 The Ticket.
Imagine starting your day with a computer glitch that leaves you feeling stuck, frustrated, and unable to get your work done. You have 1,000,001 things to get done today, and waiting for the tech issue to solve itself isn't one of them. It's time to let Hamilton handle the tech so you don't have to. We help businesses across the state spend more time on what they do best and less time frustrated with office technology. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we're focused on providing custom solutions that set you up for success now and in the future. Connect with us today at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Attention, Nebraska sports fans. Are you ready to take your skills to the next level? The Army National Guard is looking for leaders who are dedicated, driven, and ready to make a difference. Join up and gain invaluable experience while serving your country with a flexible schedule, competitive benefits, and a chance to build a strong future. Learn more at nationalguard.com/Nebraska. Live here, serve here. The Nebraska Army National Guard. Guard the good life.
Now back to high school football on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Nick Sander back with you from Memorial Stadium. The injured Red Raider on the field was Kean Kaiser, a guy we've talked plethora about today. And on first down and 15, Kip Brigham takes a carry up forward for 11 yards to make it second down and 4 from the 7-yard line. Kip Brigham on the day, 2 touchdowns. He's trying to get his third for the hat trick. He gets the handoff here, lowers the shoulder, tries to body his way in, and he gets tackled inside the 1. It's going to be first and goal. First and goal for the Wahoo offense, and I would imagine that this one will go to Kip Brigham again and try to get him his 3rd touchdown of the day. He came into today's game with 45 touchdowns on the ground. 52 total. That number, obviously, with the 2 today so far, is 46 and 47. He's lined up to the left of the quarterback, Kaminsky. First and goal from the 1. They turn, hand it off. Brigham, he gets stuffed at the 2-yard line, a loss of 1. He did, I thought, fumble the ball. Sidney's saying they have it. We're waiting for an official word. I don't think any of the officials saw that he fumbled the ball. They're going to mark him down. This will be reviewable if they buzz down. We're sitting right next to the replay booth. And now they do call it a fumble on the field. Sidney recovers it. Kip Brigham falls short. And it is going to be Sidney football. I thought that they recovered it. And finally, Chad Gillespie, the head referee, finally pointed in the direction of the Red Raiders. And now Alec Doty is going to come back into the game as there's a tall task ahead of the Sidney Red Raiders. They got to go 98 yards on a day where they've only been able to throw for 51 yards as a team. They're averaging 2.8 yards per carry. And I believe we might have a replay review. We do. So we have a replay review on the field on whether or not Kip Brigham fumbled the football. If it stands, then it is Sidney football at their own 2. If it's reversed, then Wahoo's going to get this football back, and Kip Brigham will probably get another chance at accomplishing and reaching touchdown number 48 on the ground this season. While they replay it and talk to the booth next to us, we'll step aside, come back in 30 seconds here on 93.7 The Ticket.
If you're a homeowner or a business owner, you have a lot of projects, and no one has an unlimited budget or time. Sunbelt Rentals makes all jobs less stressful with no need to purchase large equipment or hire a crew. You can do it yourself with rentals and everything from aerators and power rakes for spring yard work to stump grinders, concrete mixers, tile saws, and more. Check out their inventory in Lincoln, north of Cornhusker Highway on 56th Street, or online at sunbeltrentals.com.
Welcome back to high school football on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Nick Sander back with you from Memorial Stadium as we continue to replay this, what was called on the field as a fumble that the Sidney Red Raiders recovered. Wahoo leads, though, 20-6. Wahoo, the number 1 seed in Class C1, Sidney, the 3 seed. We currently sit with 6 minutes and 44 seconds to play in the 4th quarter. It is confirmed that it's a fumble. And so Sidney will take over at their own 2. As I mentioned, Alec Doty back out there for the Red Raiders. Reese Dorsey, the running back, jogs on out there with his banged-up starting quarterback. Guy to watch is Lance Hawley, number 7 in white, a wide receiver who's, when Sidney needs a big play, they've gone to him. 6 minutes, 44 seconds to play in the fourth quarter. It's a snap back. Dorsey keeps it himself, and he'll just dive forward for a gain of 1 up to the 3. It was a direct snap to the running back there, despite Doty being out there. He gets a little bit of breathing room up 1 yard farther. 2nd down and 9 from the 3-yard line, 6:24 to play in the fourth. Shotgun formation for the Sidney Red Raiders. Doty back to pass, looking, still surveying. He's going to take a shot downfield. That ball is held up in the stiff wind, and it's a 4th interception of the day for Alec Doty as it's picked off by number 4, Jace Kaminsky for the Wahoo Warriors. And that ball, it had no shot into the stiff wind that's blowing directly in the face of the Sidney Red Raiders. It was up in the air for far too long. It just floated, and Kaminsky was able to step in front of the receiver, grab the interception, and Wahoo takes over at the Sidney 22-yard line, 1st and 10 with exactly 6 minutes to go in the C1 state championship game. 1st and 10 from the 22-yard line. Brigham to the right of Kaminsky. 2 wideouts near side. Now they'll motion 5 from right to left. They turn, hand it off. Brigham bounces it outside, now cuts inside the numbers, and he gets stopped right at that line of scrimmage, maybe even lost a half a yard, and it's going to be 2nd down and 10.
Brought down by Anderson, Smelly, and Graham Santero.
Once again, let your folks know we'll have Class C2 and Class A action coming up on the ticket here in the rest of the day, as GICC faces off against Bishop Newman, and then Millard South and Papio South later tonight. Pass back, looking, as that pass is hauled in by number 7 for the Wahoo Warriors, Caden Christian, on the near sideline. It's going to be a short gain of about 5 on the play. Makes it 3rd down and 5 from the 17-yard line coming up with 5 minutes and 14 seconds to play in the fourth quarter. The Wahoo Warriors efforting, trying to go back-to-back here today.
It's a 3rd down 5 on the 17.
It is 20-6. It's been a rather quiet second half for both sides. Sidney finally was able to crack the scoring column in the early stages of this fourth quarter. Wahoo has yet to score points in the second half. They turn, hand it off. Brigham, nowhere to go. He loses 3 yards back at the 20-yard line. It's going to be 4th down and 8 coming up for the Warriors offense.
Accolade by Graham Santero and Kale Kaiser.
It's been a great job by the Sidney Red Raiders defense against one of the best rushers that Nebraska high school football has ever seen in Kip Brigham. They've held Brigham to 3.3, that's going to be less after the stat column updates, 3.1 yards per carry. On 4th and 8, they're going to go for it. Ball is at the 19. They need to get to the 11. Turning, looking, Kaminsky rolls to the left, now reverses direction, tries to dead leg. He can't juke out the defender. He's going to be thrown down for the sack, and Wahoo turns it over on downs. Sidney stands tall, and the Red Raiders take over. So a really nice job by a defense that's down one of their best players in Kian Kaiser, who's still being tended to on that Sidney sideline. Great job by the Red Raiders defense taking over on downs. 1st and 10 at their own 23. So Doty's 4th interception of the day does not come back to hurt the Red Raiders. But you start to look up at that clock and you see 4:28 remain, and you have a lot to make up here. They send Hawley in motion, and a penalty flag is going to be thrown before we can continue this play. It is a false start on the Red Raiders. And so with that, you do not want to be going that direction if you're Sidney. 1st and 15 coming up from the 18-yard line. You're throwing into the stiff wind. here at Memorial Stadium. Doty on the day, 4 for 11, 35 yards, no touchdowns, 4 picks. A very uncharacteristic performance for Alec Doty. Reese Dorsey, keeps it himself on the direct snap. He gets about 1.5 yards. And man, Sidney, that clock is just going to keep on rolling. 4 minutes and 15 seconds remain in the fourth quarter. Wahoo up by 14, 20-6 here in the Class C1 state championship game. Ball is placed at their own 19-yard line for the Sidney Red Raiders. This will be the 55th play of the day for the Red Raiders. Shotgun formation. They send Hawley in motion. Jet toss his way. He's trying to get to the edge. Nowhere to go. He's tackled all the way back at the 12-yard line, and Hawley now comes up holding his right shoulder. And so now Hawley immediately hits the turf as he gets to the Red Raiders sideline. So that is now another key player for this Sidney offense and defense that is now hurt. Hawley, Doty, Kaiser, all been hurt. And it's unfortunate to see in a game of this magnitude. 3rd and 21, though, for the Sidney Red Raiders. Ball is placed at their own 12-yard line. They're going to have to throw the ball here. But Sidney first wants to call a timeout before they take a delay of game. 3:08 remains in the fourth quarter. 20-6 your score. Wahoo on top of Sidney. We will step aside, come back in just a few short moments on 93.7 The Ticket.
Imagine starting your day with a computer glitch that leaves you feeling stuck, frustrated, and unable to get your work done. You have 1,000,001 things to get done today, and waiting for the tech issue to solve itself isn't one of them. It's time to let Hamilton handle the tech so you don't have to. We help businesses across the state spend more time on what they do best and less time frustrated with office technology. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we're focused on providing custom solutions that set you up for success now and in the future. Connect with us today at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Welcome back to high school football on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
The final 3 minutes and 8 seconds of the Class C1 state championship game here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Major thanks to Jake Sorensen, Jake Bachhoven, and the entire crew back in our 93.7 The Ticket studios, pushing all the buttons, making sure we stay connected from up here on the 6th floor of Memorial Stadium. 3:08 to go in the fourth quarter. It's 20-6, 3rd and 21 from their own 12-yard line. Sidney back to pass, throwing into the stiff wind. Dorsey, the pass is through the arms of number 6, the intended receiver for the Red Raiders, Carter Lipska. Kip Brigham was in on coverage. And that brings up 4th down and 21, and Sidney really has no choice but to go for it. Surprised that they tried to get all 21 yards there, especially with the understanding you're probably going to have to go for it here on 4th down. You maybe try to get within 3rd and 10 and make it much more manageable, but instead now you're going to have to throw into a strong wind that's blowing into your face directly south, maybe a tad southeast, but trips now to the right side. Dorsey takes the snap, looking to pass. He throws. It's going to be well short of the sticks as the rest of the run is trying to get across the first down line to gain, and it'll be about 3 yards shy, and it will be turnover on downs as Cale Kaiser unable to make up the necessary ground. But once again, that's where on that 3rd down and 21, maybe you don't try to get all 21. You only try to get 10 or 11 because that would have been plenty for the first down. Dorsey also throws a pretty nice ball. Reese Dorsey does. And I guess we have a media timeout on the field. I feel like we've already had about 5 of these in the corner. But I guess not. We're going to go and keep it right here because we have GICC and Bishop Newman coming up at 2:45. Jay Foreman will join me on the call for that one. And then tonight, what more can you say about Millard South? The high-powered offense, the star-studded talent, the Division I talent on that Millard South team. Obviously, there's been a lot of feelings about Millard South this season. Understandably so, but calling it what it is, some exceptional talent on the field. Jet Tamala, the Alabama commit, Nelson Wheeler, the Illinois commit. Those guys will be signing their letter of intents here in the next couple of weeks. Millard South won that state championship last year against Omaha Westside. Millard South had to forfeit a game earlier this year because of some NSAA violations. And because of that, they're actually not the number 1 overall seed. They're the number 4 seed in Class A, which then matched them up with Omaha Westside in the semifinals, and they handled them by 30-plus points. And so here tonight they play Papio South. Here's a handoff, Kip Brigham up the middle. He gets a gain of 5 or 6 yards up near the 25-yard line for a good gain on first down, second down and 5 coming up as we are inside 2.5 minutes to play. In the C1 title game, Wahoo can start to celebrate as Sidney has just one timeout, and they got to get a stop against one of the best running backs in the state. Once again, they've done a pretty good job of limiting Kip Brigham, 23 carries, 74 yards, 2 touchdowns on the day. Here is they'll motion a man from right to left, turn, hand it off, Kip Brigham again up the middle. He goes first down and so much more inside the 20-yard line and down at the 16. Kip Brigham continues to churn out yards. And I suppose if Kip Brigham gets all of these yards through the end zone, he will pass the 100-yard mark on the day and will ultimately get his 3rd touchdown of the day. But with 2:02 remaining in the 4th quarter, it's 20-6 Wahoo. It is going to be 1st and 10 from the Sidney 16-yard line. 1:55 to go as Wahoo, less than 2 minutes away from winning back-to-back titles. Brigham to the left of Kaminsky. They turn, handoff, now a reverse. Here goes the wide receiver on the reverse, number 31, Harrison Kruger, as he's shoved out of bounds on that far sideline. Near the 10-yard line, he gets a gain of 6 on first down. And it's going to be 2nd down and 4 from the 10.
2nd down 4.
So 2nd down and 4 from the 10-yard line. Ball is placed on the 10, as I mentioned. Wahoo has yet to score in the second half. They're on the doorstep. 2nd down and 4 from the 10. In the shotgun formation, they motion a man from left to right. Now they hand it off. Kip Brigham in the middle. He tries to spin out of a tackler. A great job wrapping up by that Sidney Red Raiders defense. And Kip Brigham gets maybe a gain of 1.5 yards up to the 7 or 8 yard line. 1 minute, 23 seconds remain here in the 4th quarter. 3rd and 2. Ball is on the 8. In between the games, we will send it back to our 93.7 The Ticket studios, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Plenty of Husker conversation. Nebraska basketball plays Winthrop tonight. Nebraska is starting to get some national notoriety in terms of the rankings and stuff. And so big couple of weeks ahead for the Huskers. Winthrop tonight, USC upstate later this week, and then Creighton on December 7th. Here we go, though. 3rd down and 2. Ball is at the 8-yard line with 53 seconds to go in the ball game. And we have a Wahoo timeout on the field. So, as I mentioned, even the windows here at Memorial Stadium up here in the press box are, with the hydraulics, are starting to bounce a little bit. The wind is certainly blowing here at Memorial Stadium. It kind of startled me for a second, I'm not going to lie. But either way, once again, Nebraska basketball, Winthrop tonight. That game on BTN. If you're not making your way to Memorial Stadium, hope you join Jay and myself for that one. Just as a friendly reminder, throughout all of our state championship coverage and our normal daily programming, you can always find it on the FM dial, the mobile app, the Starter Heyman Jewelers live video stream, which is Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Allo Cable Channel 961. You can always get the content there visually if you so desire. All right, out of the Wahoo timeout, 52 seconds to go in the game. It's 20-6 Wahoo. They take the snap. Here's Kip Brigham. Up the middle he goes. He's going to be stopped shy of the first down marker, right at the line of scrimmage. And Brigham is stopped by Barnheiser. 4th down and 2. There's about a 7-second differential between the game clock and the play clock. But it's been a pretty uneventful 4th quarter. and rather second half, to be fair. But Wahoo is 20 seconds away as the Wahoo Warrior crowd starts to rise to their feet in the east start part of the stadium. One more snap until Wahoo is back-to-back state champions. Brigham trying to power his way through. He gets the first down with 6 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. They will reset the ball. The clock will begin. And in 6 seconds, Wahoo is going to be your back-to-back 2025 state champions in the class of C1. The clock starts to trickle. 2 seconds, 1 second, and that's the game. Your final score in the Class C1 state championship game. The Wahoo Warriors cap off an unblemished, perfect 13-0 season with a 20-6 win over the Sidney Red Raiders. The Red Raiders finish off the year with a 12-1 record. They still search for that first state title in school history, but the Wahoo Warriors go back-to-back here in 2025. That'll do it for us from Memorial Stadium. Nick Sainert saying so long as we send it back to our 93.7 The Ticket studios here in downtown Lincoln. Jay Foreman will join me for the 2:45 matchup and 7:15 matchup between Grand Island Central Catholic and Bishop Newman at 2:45 as we crown a Class C2 state champion. Once again, one final time, your final score from Memorial in the morning game, Wahoo 20, Sidney 6 here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Imagine starting your day with a computer glitch that leaves you feeling stuck, frustrated, and unable to get your work done. You have 1,000,001 things to get done today, and waiting for the tech issue to solve itself